You're listening to Pave Media Show.
Visit pavemedia.net for more podcasts and video entertainment.
All right, guys, it's finally here. After 11 years, 22 movies, you don't need to do that.
Oh.
It is now Avengers Endgame. The last Marvel film ever. There'll never be any more.
Nope, that's it.
There's no Spider-Man Far From Home.
It was
We have not already seen
What's
a
that
trailer.
movie?
It was a lie. A very impressive lie. They shot a trailer
Super impressive.
just to
screw with us?
Just to screw with us, yeah.
Oh, those bastards.
No, this is not the last Marvel film. However, it feels like the end of an era.
It does.
It is the end of an era.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like I just said goodbye to some members of my family.
Sure did. Definitely cried man tears.
So, but we before we started, we did a bingo card last week.
Who are we, though?
We talked about, oh, shit. We're the Fake Nerd Podcast. I'm Brandon T. McClure.
Uh-huh.
With me, as always, is Sparks Whitty.
Yep.
Ben Magnet.
That's me.
Ryan James Eliopoulos, the third.
No Jameses.
The
you
third
can keep
Esquire.
the third and the Esquires, but just call me Ryan.
RJ Eliopoulos.
All right.
Oh, no.
Before we get started, though, we in our review proper, this is the review special of Endgame, so it's not the main episode.
Spoilers from here on out.
Absolutely, guys. If you
It's called a spoiler review, so I'd hope you know that.
Yeah.
if you've not seen Endgame, don't listen to this.
Who are you? Because this movie made all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.2 today.
That's estimated with Sunday. Sunday's not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we looked it up before
Yeah.
we started recording.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So,
It broke every record.
yeah, but also if you decide to listen to this and you still haven't seen Endgame, and then you try to yell at us, it's like, hey, how come you spoil Endgame?
Ben, no
for it?
one's
I
going to
have
yell
seen-
at us.
We'd
We'd have to have listeners
Some
first.
some people
Oh,
have.
Jesus.
No one's...
No, some people have actually yelled at people for saying, hey, why don't you spoil it? It's like,
But
nobody's
have
saying
they yelled at
spoilers.
Have
Ben,
they
no one's going to
yelled
yell
at
at us.
You don't know that.
This is the one.
I clicked on the spoiler review. Why are you spoiling it? No one's doing that.
Look, it's going to be clearly marked in the
Yeah.
show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so we did a bingo card, as I've been trying to build up
Sure.
to for a
Uh-huh.
while now. We did a bingo card of kind of of what we thought was going to happen, what we expected to happen, and how should we do this? Should we say who got a bingo and who didn't before we move
Sure.
on to say what we got right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who got bingo?
I got a bingo.
Oh, good for you.
Sparks?
I got a bingo.
Sparks got
Oh,
a
good
bingo.
for you.
I got more than almost half of these right, and I still didn't get a bingo.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got jack shit.
Yeah.
You didn't get any right?
No, I got some right, but if I if I put something in a different
Oh,
square,
yeah, you really
I
didn't get a lot right.
I would have gotten a bingo, but I didn't get. I barely got
I
squat.
literally almost filled this thing, except for like one or two spots because I miscalculated where to put them. Darn it.
And you didn't get a bingo.
Nope.
That,
So-
that hurts.
So let's see what I got right.
Okay.
I got here's my bingo. Here's my bingo.
Here's your bingo.
My bingo was everyone living and dusted fights as one.
Yes.
Sure.
Which I got.
I got that one too.
Asgardia. It's called New Asgard. It's the same
yes.
thing.
No,
Well,
the idea was Asgard comes back. That was the idea.
Got that as well.
I got that as well.
Yeah.
In the comics, it's Asgardia, for those of you who don't know. Howard Stark.
Yep.
Yep.
I got
Got
that.
that.
I got that one too.
Red Skull appears.
Yep.
Yep.
Now I put Red Skull comes back by giving myself the point.
That's fine.
That counts.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
All out.
It's not like he didn't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the movie.
Yeah.
And Loki appears.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you, flashback sequence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, time
Got
travel.
those points.
What was your bingo?
My bingo was Tony Stark dies.
Mm-hmm.
That was
And
everyone's.
the dusted and the living,
Yeah.
they fight together. Captain America says Avengers assemble.
Same here.
Yeah, I got that one
And-
right.
Thor lives.
I got that one right too.
I got I got Thor lives right.
Yep.
This wasn't my bingo. Thor lives. Captain America says Avengers assemble.
Uh-huh.
I got those right too.
I got Peggy Carter appears right. I got time travel to previous Infinity Stone points right.
I didn't even put that.
I got Pepper is pregnant because she was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
Fair.
Steve Rogers lives, and I got Nebula dies.
Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
say Steve Rogers lives, or did I just say he
So
died?
I
to
would have
cover my
had I would have
bases?
3 bingos if I got these three squares, which was a dramatic Hulk return, which
Uh-huh.
he just returned, If
But
there was,
he didn't even return because you would have.
It's not even really
yeah,
Hulk.
he's not even really
Yeah,
Hulk.
yeah.
Yeah. The Young Avengers tease didn't happen, even though we did get a Young Avenger in Avengers Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
So I could have had a whole bunch of bingos, but none of that happened. That's fine.
I would have gotten a bingo with my free Space Stone space if Nebula got the gauntlet, which she never does.
Nope.
She does die. A version of
And
Nebula
lives.
does die.
Technically,
lives.
one Nebula does hold the gauntlet when she picks it up from Hawkeye.
But
She
I'm
doesn't
not,
put it
but
on.
she I'm not going to count it.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to count that because I want her to
No, I
get
know.
use the
We wanted
gauntlet.
the comic, the
I wanted
comic
that
stuff.
too. It was on my list as well.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, that was also on my list.
So I want this movie for me. I think I think
Just do initial thoughts. Is this
yeah.
what-
The bingo's done now. This movie was unpredictably predictable. Whereas I kind of knew a lot of things I was going to get, but every way that it got there subverted what I thought was going to happen. I am in love with this movie.
Ben, initial thoughts.
End of an era. This is the end game. This is the end. Holy crap, we actually made it. And there were many times, especially my first viewing when I saw this movie, that I could not have been happier because there were like references to other books. There were references to stories that we have read here on the show. But there are also, we got the things that we've been waiting for. Like when Cap finally says Avengers Assemble, we actually hear it. It was just like, just chills down my spine. It was great. I love this movie.
All right, Sparks, initial thoughts.
I really enjoyed this movie. I've seen it 3 times now, and I have my hangups. I don't imagine that I'm going to go much into them on the review today,
Okay.
but I overall liked it.
Yeah, I am fluctuating a lot on kind of how much I like this movie, because I don't know if it's I don't want to admit how much I loved it, or
Dude, this is a once in a lifetime movie.
it is.
For me, this is the most emotion I felt in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I cried like 5 times seeing this a second time.
I cried, yeah.
more in the second viewing, knowing what I was getting.
The first time I saw it, I cried 4 times.
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. Yeah.
This movie's insanely emotional, and every character,
And you know
every
what?
character is earned.
I think it is the ending we needed. I think this film has. We'll get into it in the review, but you know what? Right now, I will say this film has everything we needed in this film.
I personally don't think it could have ended any better. It literally gave me everything I expected and more.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Our Infinity War was beat by beat,
Yeah.
so it would do a disservice not to do the same.
I don't think we'll be quite as scene specific as we were, but I think
Yeah.
we can certainly separate into 3 parts
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the film opens with
A heartbreak.
Yeah.
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 I knew this movie was
I
gonna
mean, we
start.
knew that.
Yeah.
We obviously knew that Hawkeye, that Clint Barton's family was going to get dusted.
Yeah.
But we weren't expecting to see, like, the first scene of the movie is us watching Clint teach his daughter how to shoot a bow.
You know what first cued me into what was going to happen?
What?
Obviously, I kind of thought was going to happen, but we're lingering on it for such a long time. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it's a cold open.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No credits, no nothing. Just like you
Very
see the
cool.
bow
It just
string.
starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts.
It just starts.
Movie starts with Clint teaching his daughter how to shoot a bow and arrow, and then Laura. Oh wait, no, Lila?
Laura's the wife. Lila's the daughter.
Lila, thank you. Lila gets dusted first. He turns around, then the boys and Laurel's gone. And
You know what?
Laurel's
I
gone.
appreciated a fun little detail. He's wearing the ankle
Yeah,
bracelet.
I saw
from
that. I was
Ant-Man and
like,
the Wasp.
okay, that's good.
I noticed that the second time.
He's under house arrest, just
Yeah.
like Scott.
Yeah, and then him freaking out. I think also in the background, I caught this the first time. I didn't catch it the second time. You could hear some
Thunderstorms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thunderstorms,
Yeah.
but also some booms. I'd like maybe some explosions or something. Because you know how at the end of Infinity War,
the end credits of
Sure.
Infinity War. Yeah.
yeah, where Fury was in the city with Maria Hill,
Shit's
and,
going wrong.
like planes are falling out of the sky, helicopters
I
are
wonder if
crashing
they're
into
too
buildings.
far off the grid to hear
I mean,
something
they
like
are
that.
pretty far out in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I took it as thunder.
You took
Yeah.
it as thunder. I
Same.
took it. I just took it as like
Especially
chaos.
the second time it's clearly thunder. The same thunder you hear in Wakanda.
Oh,
It's like it's a cosmic event happening around the world that everyone hears.
Uh-huh.
okay.
Even Rocket says like we all felt this event. No, the Earth has never felt this cosmic
Sure.
event before.
No
No,
one.
no part of the universe has.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you trying to say?
Oh, I was going to say that it took till the 3rd time watching this for me to go, Hawkeye's youngest son is real mature
Yeah.
for a 3-year-old.
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah.
He was born in 2015 during
I will
Ultron.
say, as someone who doesn't know ages of children very well, I'm going to disagree because I just met my manager's son, who's 3.5, and he looks way older than I expected.
Sure.
So
I don't mean in the way he looks. I mean in the way he behaves.
He says ketchup. Like
Yeah.
He's
No,
a
I mean
kid.
he definitely felt older than 3
He's in the
year olds
movie
to
for
me.
half a second, so like I didn't even think about it that more than that.
All right, forget my point.
No, I'm sorry. No, just like
Move on.
I don't feel that way.
This
At
film,
all.
you know what this film does? This film gives definitive dates to many events
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
franchise, and I quite appreciated that.
I did too.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah,
I don't think any of those dates were uncertain.
those aren't the ones.
I know,
Yeah.
but they say exactly when.
If only Spider-Man: Homecoming had an Infinity Stone in it, then they could have corrected it.
Jeez Louise.
Too bad.
We gotta go to Washington. Why are these kids on a trip?
All right, so basically the snapping happens.
Yeah.
And
Bye bye family.
bye Clint's family, and then we go into the logo.
Yep.
Quiet.
The studio logo. Mhm.
Quiet this time was
No,
it?
no. It's got the,
It's got the Guardians music.
Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Yep.
Oh, you're right,
Mhm.
because that's when we go to
Guardianship.
That is not that's a good song choice.
The
if you pay
Benatar.
attention to the lyrics.
This is the Benatar that the Guardians wrote in on, and
It makes you think it's Guardian stuff, but you gotta remember the Guardians are dead.
Yeah,
so,
so it's Tony and Nebula. I really
Yeah.
liked how Nebula plays
paper football.
this whole scene, like going up until Tony's almost
Yeah.
malnourished death. I
Yeah.
like how Nebula plays it a lot. I like her kind of like. I've always been a fan of how she plays Nebula, the kind of like robotic movements she has, because
Yeah.
she's mostly robot at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And the way she like stares and like I don't think she blinks. Does she blink?
She blinks.
Yeah,
maybe not
she
as
does.
often, but yeah.
Yeah, her eyes do shut.
Nebula
I know
definitely.
they shut.
So she blinks sometimes.
Much like Gamora, like had like a nice big role in the last movie. Like Nebula is like front and center in this movie.
Yeah,
and
I appreciated that.
She's so good, man.
I really like the song choice.
Yeah.
Dear
Yeah.
Mr. Fantasy plays
What is this? What is the song about? I didn't catch the.
Well,
lyrics.
the specific part of the lyrics that they play are "Dear Mr. Fantasy, play us a tune, play us a song, make us all feel happy," because everybody's real
Yeah.
sad. So
Yeah, I like when Tony.
it's the logic of it is that for that song is that people are in a really glum, bad
Yeah.
time. Play us some music, make us all feel better.
Yeah. Okay. When Nebula wins, Tony goes to shake her hand, and she's like,
Yeah.
She's so awkward.
she's just really weird about it.
When we think of like Nebula like winning and losing, it's her fighting Gamora. So
Yeah.
like when she just wins a simple game of like paper football, like I won something.
Well, and the
This is-
first part where she gets like super aggressive, and he's like, "You don't need to do
You don't
that."
need to do that.
yeah,
It's
this is
fine.
This is just fun.
You just hold the position. You don't.
Yeah, that was it was a really and they're only on the like together for a couple minutes, but like you really feel the impact of like, oh, they've been stranded in space for a
You
long
know
time.
where you really
21
feel
days.
it is
Yeah.
when they're doing when he's doing the whole thing. We see the montage of them fixing the ship, and he
Offering her
goes
food.
offers her food, and she's just like, "No, you take
That's
it."
so sweet.
Yeah,
It's
because
such a
he's
good
he's
moment.
dying.
Yeah.
She's
You can
robot.
see
She
it.
don't.
Yeah.
She doesn't need as much
I
food.
love
Yeah.
how malnourished he looks.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Like,
Yeah.
jumping ahead, like when we see him back at the compound, the Avengers compound, after Captain Marvel rescues him.
Oh boy.
He's got an IV strapped to him. You could see him like just kind of skeletal.
He's
Yeah.
he's emaciated.
It's,
Yeah.
Well, you know what was
it's-
interesting?
ooh.
I was surprised about this the first time I saw it. You don't know why Captain Marvel is there unless you saw her movie.
Very
Yeah,
true.
I was talking to them about this. I'm like, so post credits things are no longer teasers; they are now required viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
It's like, oh, you want to know what happens in this movie? You better have stayed for the credits in that one.
That's why, man. Like before this movie came out, I posted multiple times, please see Ant-Man and the Wasp, because you're gonna get so much more.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like this movie, like if Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't happen, like this movie doesn't exist, basically, right?
Sure.
Like freaking a rat is basically the savior of this universe,
Right.
first of all, which
And
is
if-
hilarious.
If the movie Captain Marvel doesn't happen,
Yeah.
then you're very lost as to why she shows up at
Yeah.
the end of at the beginning of this film to save Tony.
Sure.
I like that. I appreciate it. Like, hey, man, it's a little stinger, but it's
I think it
important.
was a scene in the movie that is now a deleted scene that went to be a post-credit sequence.
Yeah, because the Russo
Probably.
brothers did shoot that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can tell it's their style, but also if you listen to some of the press junkets, Infinity War wasn't supposed to end at the snap. It was supposed to. I think what the ending was supposed to be was Thor cutting off Thanos' head.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think that was the ending initially planned.
You can kind of see it too.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's where that scene would have ended up in that
Uh-huh.
in that moment.
Yeah. I was listening. You listened to the same Empire interview with the Russos, and in it they talked about the script for Endgame was done before the script for Infinity War.
I believe that.
Because you know the getting the ending journey, like you know what you want the end to be. Getting
Yeah.
there is the much harder writing
Yeah.
task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Captain Marvel saves Tony.
Hell yeah.
Captain Marvel saves Tony.
And then they make a plan of. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't want to go. I want to skip this. I love when Tony's on. I want to just give it Tony when he gets off the ship. I lost the kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony's breakdown and like
I wanted to put a suit of armor around the world. I love that callback to
Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
he's going through some shit like physically and emotionally, and
Yeah.
like he strikes out against everyone, especially Cap.
Yeah.
And like that scene is so strong.
He calls Cap a liar.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
powerful, man, because like he really feels like he's lost everything.
Yeah.
Like when he straight up looks at him and says, "I needed you." Past tense. We
Yeah.
are the Avengers, right? The Avengers, not the pre-Avengers. Like Rhodey's trying
Not
to
the
call him.
pre-Avengers. We do our best work after the fact, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
you can tell that Rhodey's trying to calm him down, and then you can still see that Tony is not okay.
And Cap's
at
not
all.
getting mad either because he understands they all lost.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the end game. Like, where do we go from here?
To be fair, Tony's lost less than everyone else because
Yeah.
he still has
Pepper.
Uh-huh.
She's still
Yeah.
alive.
But losing the kid is
Rhodey
a
is
lot.
still alive, but losing Peter was really hard on him.
And the fact that like he's the one who actually like he fought Thanos, and like how did you guys hear about that? No,
Yeah.
because I actually lost. Nobody fought Thanos. We lost. We suck.
He got
and you weren't there to help
what
me.
he says, we all fought him. It's like you fought him. Did he give his? I'm sorry, I didn't fight him. He wiped the moon on my face and then
Yeah.
kicked our ass.
That's a really really powerful scene, man. And
Yeah.
Captain Marvel's just like, hey, I'm sorry you guys went through this. I'm gonna go kill him because like I'm here now.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's like, he says that they need new blood like her.
Yeah.
Which is neat.
yeah.
When they arrive, Rocket goes and sits with Nebula.
Oh,
I
and
love
it's so
that.
it's so
such
sweet.
a small moment, but it's so nice
Yeah.
Hold your hand too. They're sitting
because they
on
both
the-
lost their family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. And man, that I always like how
That's the moment when Rocket knows that the others are dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because at that time he has no clue.
no, because he only saw Groot fade away. He didn't know that.
Literally
Peter-
all of the other Guardians
Yeah.
besides
Yeah.
Nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real rough on a lot of characters at the start of this film.
And again, like this couldn't happen without building each of their movies.
Yeah,
Like I care about every single one of these characters.
absolutely.
So like seeing a little raccoon and a half robot lady like have an emotional connection, it's like, man, this is unreal.
Yeah.
This movie's so good.
Yeah.
So they have a plan of attack. They know where Thanos is.
I have a
Thanos
plan.
is.
Attack.
They know where Thanos is. They're going to go after him. So they just go to the garden,
Because
as
Nebula
Thanos calls it.
explains that there's the garden.
And then
Before
Rocket
we go
realizes
too far into it, I want to say that I think Don Cheadle gets the most play he's ever been allowed to have in this film.
Yeah.
And I think that starts right off the bat, and I'm real happy about
Yeah.
it, because dang it, did he need it.
he's
Yeah.
good in this movie.
He is good in this movie.
You know what?
Everybody's good. in
You're
this
right.
movie.
He's not. He maybe Iron Man 3.
He's
Iron
front and
3,
center in Iron Man 3.
He's front and center half the time.
Yeah.
But this is still like the most real character play he's ever got.
He's a
Yeah.
main character in this movie.
Yes.
And I
Thank goodness.
I appreciated that. Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't
about
realize.
time.
I didn't realize. Yeah, so they go to the garden, and Carol's like, there's no ships, there's no army, it's just him.
Before we go there, I really like Carol's line that she says to Rhodey about there are a lot of other planets besides Earth in the universe. They don't all have you.
Yeah, and I like Cap's little.
It's a really nice, like, hey, don't bitch about where Captain Marvel's been.
Yeah.
She's got good reason.
And we'll get back to that later too.
Sure.
Yeah.
20 years,
Yeah.
big galaxy.
Yeah.
Also,
Big
also
universe.
when they finally do get on the ship and they're blasting off, and Rocket's like, "Okay, who here's never been to space?" Three of them raise their hands. They're like, us."
Yeah, even Banner's like, nah, I've done this before.
Been to space.
and there's one shot of when they're jetting through space in Captain America's
It's
eyes.
Steve's eyes, yeah.
I
It's
love
like,
that.
He like clenches up.
Man,
Yeah.
what a shot! Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because he's never been to space before.
This
So
is his wackiest adventure yet.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's just kind of like, well, this is, and he's wearing the Winter Soldier outfit.
he is.
Pulled that out of mothballs. I like to see. I like to see that again.
He's wearing a. He's.
Oh wait,
wearing-
we forgot about talking about the biggest loss of the film, Cap's beard.
Yeah.
I
Really?
guess if you cared about that a lot.
R.I.P. Cap's beard.
He is incredibly handsome with the beard.
Yeah.
But like seeing
Yeah, he
him clean
is.
cut, I'm just like, ooh, there's my Captain
It's
America.
like, yeah,
That's America's ass.
we'll get to
We'll
that.
get to that.
We'll
I can't
get to
wait
that.
to get to that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Thanos is just chilling on a farm.
And he's
picking
weaker.
plants. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
For a
you're
reason.
queued up. You're queued up really quick that he's weaker.
His
than
arm-
Last time we saw him.
His arm still has the gauntlet on
He
it.
limps
and it-
because
yeah.
you see him limping upstairs, and immediately I'm
Well,
like, oh,
We were pretty sure we were seeing Limp at the end of Infinity War 2.
Yeah.
when he was kind of hobbling to that sit down
that's true.
position.
Well, also
but he
you-
wasn't breathing.
But he wasn't
heavy.
as burnt.
He wasn't
as
as burnt, but that's he said it nearly killed me to destroy
Yeah.
The
the
stones.
stones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they ambush him in a really good. Would have worked.
Would have
yeah.
worked.
They
Would've
should have
worked.
done this first in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Now they
and
know.
Thor comes in, chops his arm
I want
off.
to know how Hulkbuster got under that farmhouse.
Me too.
but it worked.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
That was a good
appears
scene.
out of nowhere.
That was a good scene, though.
Hulkbuster just kind of like. Ugh,
I know there are steps, but
Yeah,
he goes under the farmhouse.
That's pretty funny.
good, though.
I like. Maybe he's like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Ooh, real quick, there wasn't a War Machine Hulkbuster in this movie, right?
No,
Okay, because there's marketing.
No. His last outfit looks like the Hulk. but
No,
the
I'm
blue-
talking about the big. There was marketing for a big silver Hulkbuster.
Oh,
I think
wonder.
that might just be a fun toy.
Yeah, it must
Okay.
be. His, I was gonna say, like, we'll get to it at the end, but
No, yeah.
his War Machine armor
It's
at the
big.
end, it looks like the blue Hulkbuster prototype that we saw in Iron Man 3, but
Igor.
like amped up.
Yeah.
Igor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like that amped up.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they chop off his arms. Rocket turns around the gauntlet. No stones.
Nope.
Stones are gone. I love Rockets. Just oh my god.
And the audience gives a collective, oh man.
yeah. What
Oh,
did
boy.
he do?
Here we
just
go.
we're just like, oh no.
He did the only thing. He did the only thing that could be done to destroy the stones. He used the stones to destroy the stones.
And Thanos,
Yep.
again, this is what makes him such an incredible villain. He's like, listen, I did what I was supposed to do, and the temptation was there to use them again, so I destroyed them.
yeah,
Because I knew what I had to do, and I'm chilling, baby. You guys can do whatever you want. Kill me, I guess.
and it removes the MacGuffin from the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, the movie, like, it stops there, and then, it goes forward, but I'm like, oh, shit,
yeah.
dude.
You know what? The first
Their
time I saw
mission is a failure.
the first time I saw it, when Thor cuts off his head, which is a great line. I went for the head. I really like how they're just kind of like, the Roosters are like, yeah, guess what? We just killed the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opening 20 minutes.
And they
your
realize that,
villain's
too,
dead.
because they all react differently, but Black Widow immediately starts crying. Because
Yeah.
she's like, this was our chance.
Now there is no chance.
And, like,
No.
That's
and,
it.
And I'm like, cool. Where to go from here? And then we find out.
5 years later.
Oh my god.
5
Like,
years later. I remember
'cause I've heard
the first
people-
time we saw it. I just want a real quick shout out to Ryan's reaction the first time we saw this movie. I was here 5 years. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just sat right next to me.
Again, because like predictably unpredictable. Like when I see Black Widows in the trailers, her long hair like that, unless just crazy stuff, like you don't get that amount of hair growth in a couple months. This
Yeah.
has to be a big jump. And when that happened, I'm like, man, they're ballsy. They're really going for it.
Yeah.
And it is ballsy.
So we skipped to 2023 in the
Hell
timeline.
yeah,
Yeah.
5-year plan, baby.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
We live
what
in
were-
the future.
What were you going to say, Ben?
No, because I know some people were talking about like, oh, there's gonna be a huge time jump. There's some people saying there's not gonna be that large of a time jump.
I was cued in.
It was
Kinda
one
like
of the
there
things
would
where
be
I
one in
think
the
I
movie.
thought there was gonna be like maybe a 6-month time jump or something. But I love how the Russos did it, as in like you're all right. There is like 23 days after Thanos first snapped, they go after him. They kill him. He destroyed the stones. There's nothing they could do. 5 years later, that's where the real story picks up.
Legitimately, if it wasn't for a random rat, like
Yeah.
who knows how long
Nothing-
Scott would have
Yeah.
been stuck in there.
Nothing would have changed.
20 years could have passed before something like this actually like
Took 5 years.
We-
it's awesome random
Well,
happenstance.
I just want to talk before we get into Scott's reveal.
Yeah.
The bit at the
Headquarters?
Mental. The help group.
the help group. Both Anthony Russo and Jim Starlin cameos.
Jim Starlin, yeah, that's really cool.
Very
Who's
cool.
Jim Starlin
Jim
again?
Starlin, the
Creator
creator
of
of
Thanos.
Thanos.
Oh,
He's the one who says, "How were you, when did you cry? Did you
Oh, okay. He was the guy with the
yeah.
glasses.
He's an older guy.
cry?" Yeah, he with the beard, and the
Yeah.
other, the one who's mainly talking about the date is Anthony.
Is Anthony.
Anthony Russo. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that Anthony or is that Joe?
It's Anthony.
It's Anthony.
Anthony's.
I didn't know until today.
No, Anthony Russo is in 3. He's in Winter Soldier, Civil War, and now this.
Definitely not the same character.
I don't think it. Yeah, because in Winter Soldier, he's the doctor who helps Fury.
Yeah.
In Civil War, he's dead.
Yeah.
And here he's a nice man who just wants to go on a date and live his life.
Yeah.
Talk about the Mets, but they're gone.
Yeah, they talked about. I saw that they talked about why he was in that cameo, and they felt that it was important that a director be the representation of a gay character. That's what they said.
No, I know
that
what they
they
said.
wanted that because he's saying he went on a date with a man.
Yeah.
They wanted to voice that. They felt that was important by putting one of them as the person playing that.
I don't.
I guess
It doesn't. I that aspect I don't think needed to
Why-
be said. It didn't.
Why does it need to be a director? That's a weird thing to say. It needs to be a
It's
director.
like I'm not gonna pat you on the back for
Yeah.
If he didn't say anything about it, I'd
No,
be like,
that's
well,
Joe. That's Joe Russo.
Is it?
I just looked it up. That's Joe Russo.
Joe Russo.
There we go.
I've been thinking it was Anthony this whole time.
They're the brothers.
Anthony's the one with the glasses, who's like always wearing glasses, not as a
I was about to
character,
say
but always wearing glasses.
Wow.
Sometimes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Joe's the one with more gray hair.
Anyway, yeah, it's a nice thing for them to do, but I don't think you need to say, hey, you don't need to pat yourself on the back for it.
Speaking of cameos, we get 2 community cameos in this movie.
We
we
do.
do.
Yeah,
The entire roster is now complete, basically.
Nope.
Almost.
Not even close.
Jillian Jacobs is
Almost.
Jillian.
Not Chevy Chase.
Okay, well, we take Chevy Chase off.
No. But I'm saying we got a lot. That's all I'm saying. We don't need to go into every freaking character on Community.
I would like to see Alison
We got a
Brie.
lot.
Alison Brie cameo, maybe.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
If-
Oh, we're
if
missing
anyone-
3.
I think so. Alison
Yeah.
Brie.
Jillian Jacobs and Joel McHale.
Yeah.
Wasn't Joel McHale in something?
Don't think so.
No.
He was in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, he was. Oh, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
I'm
Donald
not-
Glover
and
is
I'm not
Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'm not counting him because that wasn't a Russo-directed production.
It's not a Marvel.
It's not a Marvel
Guys,
Cinematic
we've talked about this
Universe.
way too long. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is the important thing,
This is what's
Ryan.
important, yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Scott comes back
Hell yeah. Because of a stupid rat.
because of a rat. He gets lucky.
Yeah.
And he's freed from the quantum realm.
Yes.
Yep.
But for him, it's only been 5 hours.
Yeah.
So he's confused. He doesn't know what's going on.
Time vortexes, baby. How do they work?
So he's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. So he goes to try to figure out, and then he realizes that something bad's happened. Where's Cassie? I love that his instinct is like, where's Cassie?
Well, of course.
I need to find Cassie. And he finds her, and she's older.
Oh,
5 years
man.
older.
That's the first time I cried in the movie.
It's real rough.
Yeah.
I
like how they put-
his range of emotions
Yeah.
is so intense.
Paul Rudd's so good.
And then it's a classic Paul Rudd or Scott Lang line of where he's like, yes, the love and feeling stuff is there, but then he kind of cracks a joke. He's like, you're so big now. How did this happen?
Yes, I love young Cassie too. It's sad that young Cassie's not here. We
Yeah.
have young.
Oh, I think you and I have a similar opinion then.
Yeah.
If what he's
No,
if
I
what
know.
he's
I know.
implying
We
is
don't
true.
have young Cassie, and she's the greatest actress in these Marvel Cinematic movies. But we have young Morgan. We can't have 2 young, silly, young actresses.
But how often are we going to see young Morgan? I mean, I don't.
That's exactly why we need to focus on her in this movie instead of having 2 young actresses who look the same. It makes more sense to have stature.
Okay,
set
so
up.
I was gonna wait for this, but I think this is a good place to bring this up. When Tony says we want everyone who is dusted to come back now,
Yeah.
I really wish Scott had given more pushback, being like, "No, I lost 5 years with
Oh
my
boy,
daughter."
this
Yeah.
is a whole thing. I don't know if I want to get into that right now.
Really?
Okay. I mean, like, can we get to that when we're at that point?
Yeah.
I don't want. I don't think I want to touch on.
I
I got a
have
lot
my
to say
notes.
about that, so
I
I,
think
don't
I
want to
have
talk
it on
about
my
that right now.
Hopefully, I have it in my notes to remember.
Boy, I have a strong opinion about that.
Okay, so yeah, Cassie has aged up 5 years.
Yeah.
As I said, I really like Scott Lang's reaction. You know, his despair, his love, his happiness. It all comes
Just
through.
so big. Yeah.
It's so good to see him do that. And then
yeah, you're not dead.
Because
somehow he crosses
lost-
the country.
Yeah. He lost. Yeah. Well, no. He arrives in San Francisco. That's
No,
what-
he arrives in San Francisco. The Avengers compound is in
Oh,
upstate
yeah,
New York.
He does have a van. You know.
He drove the
Yeah.
van. Just
Yeah.
I got this.
Probably not a lot of traffic.
Yeah, probably.
Very true.
You know, Steve even says like
Oh,
less ships and less.
I will.
less boats.
That's honestly one of the saddest lines because that means Captain America has accepted his defeat. He's like, if you think about it, the world's a little bit better. The
Not-
oceans are better.
Not only that, it kind of says Thanos is right.
Yeah.
And nothing in the movie ever says he's wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why.
Which
that-
I have a little bit of a problem with.
That's why. That's why I love that moment because Captain America is like, you know, I was ready to like, I wasn't ready to give up, but like the oceans are cleaner. I saw some whales. Maybe this will turn out okay. And that's when Nat's like, no.
Maybe
No.
we'll find a way to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
and
I
that's-
think what he's trying to
And
say.
then Nat threatens to hit him in the head with a peanut butter sandwich.
because she needs to remind him, bro, you're Captain America. You never give up.
And I like how I wish there was more explanation of what Natasha is doing.
She's just running. I think she's just
She's
like
running a thing.
I think she's running the Avengers.
I think it's like a combination of what the World Security Council
Yeah.
was and the Avengers.
Exactly.
Now she's just ground zero of are things okay everywhere.
yeah.
yeah, maybe.
She can't do anything
Kind of
else
like
but
when
be
she
involved.
she's talking to Okoye, when she's like, "Yeah, there's like a little Africa, there's a little
earthquake.
movement under the Africa plate," and she's like, "Well, do we have visual? What's going on?" And she's like,
Don't worry,
"Nat,
it's just an
We're not
earthquake."
going to touch it. It's just an earthquake.
Yeah.
We handle it by not handling it.
Because
Chill
Nat's
out."
so I love Scarlett Johansson. Obviously, she's my wife. But like, I think Black Widow is so effing good in this movie Because her entire career has been like, I have nothing to live for. And now that she's made it to this point where she's lost, and she's like, I need some semblance of a life. So I'm going to run this Security Council thing. And then she finally gets this time vortex. And then what happens to her is it's paid off so beautifully because she actually has an arc and she actually has something to do.
A lot of good hair in this movie. I want to
dude.
say. A lot of good
Such
hair
good
in this
hair.
movie.
I actually really dig
100%
Captain Marvel's haircut.
Oh, hell yeah.
I dig it. And she straight up says, she's like, yeah, you're not going to hear from me from a long time.
She looks directly at the camera and saying, don't expect me, guys. I'm not going to save you until the end.
She filmed this 2 years before she filmed Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and you know what? I like her better in this movie than I do Captain Marvel.
Really interesting.
100%.
I like her about the same.
I actually have a sense of her character and her confidence, and it's a different confidence than every other character. Especially, like, my favorite scene where she's like, hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me? Because she's so confident in herself.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
Yeah.
I fully believe this isn't, like, she's in her brainwash mode from Captain Marvel. She knows who she is. So I feel that exuding confidence that she has in the comics in this movie.
I have to agree with that, yeah.
She's the Hulk in this movie, whereas, like, in the Avengers, we're like, oh, they finally gave him something awesome and powerful. Like, she's like that, but she has a more personality than the Hulk does. I like her a lot in
You
this movie.
looked like you wanted to say something.
I like the Black Widow sandwich scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good scene. I like that she offers the sandwich to Steve as he sits down. And then Scott's there.
I think that's her best scene.
Yeah,
And I'm not just saying in this movie. I think that's Black Widow's best scene in this entire franchise.
it's a good scene.
Is the sandwich scene.
And Rhodey's trying
that
to...
whole scene from the moment she makes the sandwich to the end of it when Scott shows up.
Best sandwich scene.
Rhodey is trying to find Clint
Mm-hmm.
because he's off the grid.
Who's dropping bodies?
And
Her only lifelong friend has become the thing that, like, she used to be.
yeah,
So that's why she's breaking down so hard, because the one person she does have left in her life is a murderer. And it's like the thing that she's actively trying to not be. She's always trying to be the best person. And I find that so heartbreaking. That's why I love everything involving those two characters in this movie.
and Scott's there, and he's kind of schizophrenic, he's processing a lot of information.
Yeah, he was in there for 5 hours, and then outside 5 years goes by.
Yeah,
so
it's
for
gotta-
him,
It's gotta suck.
I would freak out too if he was like, and then when Nat's like, yeah, I must have been a hard 5 years. He's like, no, I was in there for 5 hours.
And then the second he said that, oh, baby, here we go, time travel.
Yep,
Here we
yep,
go.
it's happening.
Are you saying time travel? No, that's ridiculous.
Time machine.
Are you saying we build a time machine?
That would be
no, that's
stupid.
be stupid. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
it's a
about
time machine.
I know
time
it
machine.
sounds crazy, Scott. I get emails from
By the way, I
Raccoon,
really
nothing
like.
sounds
I really
crazy.
like the line. I really like the line when he's just like,
Hope was my.
"Oh, that's a good line." But that wasn't.
She was my.
Well, she was
supposed to pull me out.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd's real good, man.
Yeah, he is.
Damn it! It was the line where he's talking to. Oh, it's the quantum. It's like, do you guys know anything about quantum mechanics, quantum physics? And Nash just like only enough to make.
Only enough for conversation.
And I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you need to know. Yeah, I like the.
Also, I like the line where she says, "Dude, I get emails from Raccoon. Nothing's crazy anymore."
Yeah, we're so far in this world, like anything's possible. guys.
Rocket looks real good in that abdomen landing outfit.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's really come into his own too.
Yeah.
And him and Nebula are real close.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they are.
It's cool seeing him he's the new leader of a team of Guardians almost. Like we don't see any other team, but like he's doing his own thing separate from everyone. I'm like, that's man.
He's
He cares
being-
about Earth.
What I really
awesome.
What I really like is that not only Rocket and Nebula are really close, but also Rocket and Nebula are cool with all the other Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but when Rocket and Nebula come back from space, and it's the scene where Scott's taco gets obliterated.
Rhodey.
Yeah,
Rhodey
she
watched it.
Nebula
calls
talks to Rhodey.
Yeah, but she doesn't call him Rhodes. She calls him Rhodey,
Yeah.
which everyone knows that's his nickname. So even Nebula, one of the most hard-ass people in the entire galaxy, is kind of chill.
5 years go by, you're gonna get close with these people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's arguably spent more time with these folks than she did with Gamora and the Guardians.
Yeah, probably.
Poor Scott's taco.
Oh, he could.
Yeah,
All right, we're
but
jumping ahead.
Professor Hulk gives him 2 more as like, here you go, buddy.
We gotta get to that point.
We are,
Oh, yeah.
we are jumping a little too ahead.
Yeah. So rewind
they
a little bit.
They go to find Tony.
Yeah,
So they go to find Tony Stark,
has a kid.
now, Morgan H. Stark.
who is adorable.
She is really cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really cute. I love seeing Tony as a dad.
Yeah, so do I.
I thought he makes a really good dad.
Uh-huh.
I also like the bit where Scott is kind of like yelling at him, and she comes out. I was like, "Mommy told me to come save you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Also,
that.
I also like how even at the last exchange we saw between Tony and Cap was very hostile. Like Tony was pissed. He does say, "Is like, look, the table's set for 6.
If you don't want to talk shop,
if you don't
can come
talk
in.
shop, you're
Yeah.
more. I'm happy to see you guys. If you don't want to talk, if we don't talk shop, you're more than welcome to stay for lunch."
Because
that I like because he knows that yeah, I was mad, I was pissed, I was in space, I was stranded in space for 21 days, kind of water on the bridge, but he has found something out of this hellhole that everyone else has.
Well, we got to talk about the thing they go to him to see, because like
Time travel, yeah,
they can't do this without him.
No.
He's the smartest person on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But they go ahead, Sparks.
No, I had nothing.
Oh, okay.
You always look like you're about to say something.
Assume I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I kind of agree with you, Ben, but what I prefer is the reading that Tony is still done with Steve.
Oh yeah, he's done.
Like he's still like, look, I'm still pissed off at you. I have gained a
Yeah.
life in this hellhole. I've moved on.
Yeah.
And but I still haven't forgiven you. But if you want to talk, if you don't want to talk shop, you can stay.
It's a thing of like, it's been 5 years. Even though you're pissed at somebody for something, like you have a lot less in your world. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's forgiven Steve, but I also don't think that the resentment is as high as it used to be. Obviously, like later when he talks to Steve is when it's really cleared up. But I think it's very much on a level like I understand this because I've had people in my life, when they've wronged me, but we're not at a point where I've fully forgiven them for it. But I'm also not at a point where I hate them for it.
Right.
It's that space.
Yeah. And Tony, it's in his head, so he's kind of like, well, okay, I'll try something.
Yeah.
And don't worry if it doesn't work, because like and then it works. It's like, shit.
Yeah.
And then
I just figured out time travel. Okay.
And then Morgan's on the stairwell going, shit. And he's like, what?
The thing that pushes him to do that is, at least what we're shown is him looking at the picture of him and Peter.
Yeah.
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 A chance to save Peter is what does it. I
also,
think,
notice how he also has a picture of his dad up there.
Of course. Howard.
Yeah. But the picture with him and Peter was like, oh, now you're gonna start playing around with this. You're just gonna try, aren't you?
Also, my read on it is based on the way that how far along he already seems to be with solving it, and the way that he brings it up to Pepper. Tony's already been working on this.
He's been considering it?
He's been considering it. Because when he's standing in the scene with Pepper, he says, I figured it out. Time travel.
Yeah.
Also, but
which means he's talked about it before.
When he runs a simulation, he's like, all right, we're going to run one more simulation, which means he's worked on it before.
Yes.
Perhaps it was the idea of the quantum realm that cued him into
yes,
it.
that's
what it was.
That's exactly the implication.
They're separate time travel things coming together, which made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, he might not have worked on it for a while. It might have been the plan a year out.
But just like Ultron, it's something he worked on, and then something came up to help do this now.
Yeah,
right.
so I do like the implication that he was thinking about this and probably didn't tell Steve and the others, but he was working on this. He was trying to find a way.
Yeah.
And the conversation he has with Pepper is so good. And I think, man, Pepper, this is honestly maybe my favorite Pepper stuff in all of it, because like she's so accepting and understanding. And her whole thing with Tony throughout all of these movies is like she's always telling him no. But, like, he's Iron Man. Of course he's going to try to save the world. So she's like, you wouldn't be able to rest at night. Like, he's like, well, maybe I should just lock this time thing up in a box and never think about it. She's like,
Go to bed.
but you won't do that.
She also, more than any other time, recognizes the weight of what this means.
Yeah.
So.
And she's like, we lucked out. Like, we had a good life. A lot of people didn't. And I know you want to fix that.
Right.
And she's totally accepting, and she's like, man, you got to go do your thing. I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
how-
God, Pepper, your character has evolved with him so much. I love it.
You know what I was thinking about? I really like how barren the world looks.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
50% of the population of all life
You
has
guys
been
watched
wiped out.
The Leftovers on HBO.
And it feels emptier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels, and I really appreciate that.
Right before the therapy session with Steve and the other all those other guys, you see the trailer shots of Statue of Liberty, Staten Island, or not Staten Island, Ellis Island, completely barren with a bunch of ships around there in harbor. You see City Field gone to ruin essentially because there's no one's playing sports anymore. Half of all life is gone.
Yeah, it almost looks like post-apocalyptic,
and not just that,
without zombies.
half of everything, not just humans, birds,
That's why I said all the animal life.
Yeah.
everything is gone.
What I liked about that so much is that 5 years is just enough time that the world wouldn't have moved on.
Yeah.
It's still fresh.
They're still figuring
It
it
still
out.
hurts.
But it's not fresh enough that people still want to fix it.
Like they haven't forgotten.
They built, like when Scott goes to see the monument over by the Golden Gate Bridge, all the names of those who vanished in San Francisco, I assume, he just couldn't believe it. That's why he's frantically looking for Cassie's name. And, oh God, I just forgot what I was going to say.
No,
Damn
so
it.
what I was just getting at is that 5 years is a good, like if it was 10 years, then everyone would have moved on and accepted their fate.
Yeah.
But 5 years is there's still people who want to fix this, and it's still fresh, but it's not but it's not too far in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate. I thought 5 years was a really nice place to set it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see where all of the Avengers are. Like Tony's fully accepted. Like this is the reality we live in. Black Widow's like I still want to do everything we can. Cap's kind of like in the middle. Like man, like
And
what- Hulk's just living his best life. Honestly, Hulk is doing it just fine.
So
Frickin'
I
Hulk, dude.
could not
18 months in a
believe-
gamma lab.
I could not believe it when they cut after Tony Strip says no.
We got to get the
And
team
then
back
there's
together.
and then they're like, well, we need a bigger brain. Who has a bigger brain than him? Hard cut to the diner scene with Hulk. And he's like, is this crazy? I'm wearing shirts now. And just to hear Mark Ruffalo's voice come out of a fully CGI Hulk, I'm like, no.
So I was thinking about this the first time I saw it, and a little bit the second time I saw it. The CG on Professor Hulk, let's call him, is sometimes really good,
Yeah.
sometimes not so good.
He doesn't fully have Thanos' budget,
no.
but but like the good shots look really, really,
Yes,
really
they
good.
do. Yes, they
Specific
do.
shots that are like, all right, this shot we need him to look extra spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got like 50 bajillion visual effects shots in here, and not all of them are going to be winners.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The second I saw Hulk, like Professor Hulk, I'm like, there goes my bingo card.
Yeah, right. Same.
I'm like, there goes my bingo slot. Damn it.
All right.
If we
We're done.
Cross out dramatic Hulk return with silly Hulk return.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Like
No, then I would have gotten it for Hulk Return.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
but then him like just sitting there like saying, because I also like how he said, like, yeah, I looked at the Hulk as a disease for so long, and then I saw him as a cure, and now we got best of both worlds. I got the strength of the Hulk, but the brain of Bruce. We're good to go. There's no worries. He's happy what he is, which is the first time in all these movies that he's been happy to be a Hulk.
It's true,
Yeah.
all of it.
And also, I love that line. I was like, I know it's crazy. I'm wearing shirts now. I'm like,
Yeah, even it's because obviously Steve and Nat knows the deal, but
Uh-huh.
Scott's like,
yeah.
I'm so confused.
And also seeing all the breakfast food in front of him.
He has to eat a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Hulk.
It's a shitload of pancakes.
And those kids going up.
Just take the damn phone.
Those kids going up for a picture. He's like, say green, and he's like, hey, Hulk out.
It's like, do a dab, listen to your mama.
Oh man.
That goes on a little too long for me.
I think so too.
Yeah, the whole phone. I agree. The whole Scott saying like, hey, you want a picture with me? I'm Ant-Man, and they're like, no. I was like, okay, yeah.
The end line is what I laugh at. I think the end line is funny of the take the damn phone, but I do think the moment goes on a little too long.
Yeah.
Hey,
I kept thinking, because the first time I saw it, I kept thinking it was going to build to like a slight Hulk outburst where he was getting frustrated with him
Yeah,
for
me
not taking
too.
the picture because of how long it was going. And then I'm like, oh no, it's just too long.
yeah,
Okay.
It's
yeah.
a long ass movie.
So they end up going.
It is a long ass movie, and that's
Yeah.
the only scene that I feel like this is long.
Yeah.
That's the only moment I could think of where I'm like, this feels long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the film, much like Infinity War, I think the film is really well paced. But in a different way, when Infinity War was more action heavy, this one is more drama heavy. There's a lot of room for characters to have moments. A lot of room for
That's
characters
the whole
to breathe.
first hour.
That's all I want. It's just people talking to each other, man, and
Yeah.
I get it. We get so much. We get both movies that I want:
Yeah.
epic battles and just people chatting.
And I like that the Russos allow character moments to play out, but maybe some of the jokes want to go a little too long.
Yeah.
Honestly, like maybe that the Hulk moment is the only one where I'm like, hey, you could cut like a couple minutes.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Really
That
the
part
only
right
one.
there is that the scene with Scott and the kids. That's the only one that's like, okay, that's
And
stretched.
I think the thing is, like, I've seen it 3 times now, and the first time I felt that way, and the subsequent times I've been like, yeah, no, this is,
Yeah.
I need this for this long.
Yeah.
This is a
I've only
lot.
seen it twice, and even when we were coming up to that scene, I'm like, everything up to when the kids showed up, I'm like, okay, can we hurry it up, please?
Yeah. So they go to the diner. They get Hulk. He's going to do it. He's going to
Yeah.
help
Board.
them out.
Mr. Fix It.
So they go and they
He says that it was worse for him because the Hulk lost, then Banner lost, then everybody lost, and that's why he did the thing he did.
Gamma.
nobody
Lab.
blames you.
So
I
I
did.
read that as that Hulk was ashamed about losing
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
from Infinity War. We don't get a direct answer.
Yeah.
For why he.
I
went
always
out.
felt
but I
that
think,
way.
but I think it's shame.
I felt
well,
that way.
but some people felt it was fear.
No, I know.
I don't think it was fear. I
Yeah.
think it was shame.
I felt it was fear.
No, I know.
When I first saw Infinity War. Yeah. No, that's good. That's a good reading of it.
Yeah.
So we get Scott in Hank's quantum suit,
Yeah.
which is cute.
Wait, are we skipping over Hawkeye? Getting the team together?
No, we haven't gotten to Hawkeye
It hasn't
yet.
gotten there yet.
Okay.
Because that's after Tony comes back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we get
This is when they're there and they're testing it.
Okay.
yeah, they're testing it, and Scott
In between that is when Tony figured it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then Scott goes in and comes out as a child, a kid from,
Teenager, old man, baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone peed my pants. It was either
Young
baby me or old me
or me.
or just me.
The comedy timing of Steve's "That's a baby" that line is so good.
No, then Hulk goes, "No, it's Scott." No,
Yeah, as a baby.
Yeah, as a baby.
Everybody's comedic timing. Like,
I love because his whole just like, that's a baby.
I have never seen more Bruce come through that CGI Hulk than when he turns back. He's like, "It's just that's bad joke."
yeah.
Yeah, when he's like, but I got it, I did it. And
Time travel.
time travel. And Scott's just like, Steve's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then
And he
Hulk-
goes outside.
I was like, I see this as a win. We did it. And then Tony shows. I really like the
Tell
scene.
me he didn't turn into a baby,
Yeah,
among other things.
but I love the scene between Tony and Steve with outside where Tony
scene.
gives him his shield back.
Yeah,
That's like
that's
But he
the
only-
moment of
he only-
forgiveness.
But don't tell the other team because he only brought one. He can't give him.
Don't
to
tell the
everyone.
rest of the team. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the moment where he forgives Cap, I think.
Real quick, while we're talking about Hulk stuff, he's Mark Ruffalo isn't just doing Mark Ruffalo's voice. He's doing like a weird, like kind of mildly gruff.
It's Hulk's voice and Mark
yeah,
Ruffalo's voice modulated
it's like a
together.
little modulated.
Oh, we passed
Yeah.
over. You mentioned Mr. Fix-It. I just for the audience, that's a character from the comics. It's a
Yeah,
Hulk personality.
Mr. Fix-It, Professor Hulk, like it's the merging of both of them together. It's happened multiple
Oh,
times.
that's what you were referencing? I thought you were referencing the fox from Richard Scary.
no, Mr.
That's
Fix-It.
what I was worried about.
No,
that
Mr.
people
Fix-It
wouldn't catch
is like the Hulk who wears like a jumpsuit with a tie and shit and like glasses.
Hold
like,
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
What the hell did you say?
The Busy World of Richard Scary.
What is that?
Richard
It's
Scary?
an old like kids cartoon.
I
You
know
guys
Richard
never
Scary.
watched that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's there's like a worm.
Sparks and I are shaking our heads.
Okay, guess you guys never.
We'll show you later.
Busy
I'm-
Town. You never remember Busy
You
Town?
can keep saying things.
Okay, never
It's
mind.
not, it's not going to keep something.
So yeah, Hulk's real cool, guys.
I
Yeah.
don't know anything about No Dick Scary, so
Wasn't going there, but all right.
There
My
you go.
dick's pretty scary.
Is it?
jeez,
Boy.
Ask my girlfriend.
Whoa!
go see a doctor.
I should. Anyway.
All right.
So
Tony shows up.
So Tony shows up. He's figured it out. He's got the quantum. What does it call them? The
Quantum GPS.
quantum GPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the armband things. We've seen them in the trailers.
Yeah.
And he's like, I figured it out. Time travel. So we do have a team, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're doing that thing.
but also
He says resentment is corrosive, and I hate it.
Yeah.
That's how he forgives Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
but also he makes sure that look, I can't lose anything for the past 5 years. Everyone who disappeared, we bring them back, but I keep what I found.
Is this a good place to talk about what you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay, we'll keep waiting.
We'll wait.
Then.
We'll wait until when he tells Banner.
Okay. Yeah. I said my piece. I guess we'll wait a little longer before we get further into that detail. So they go to recruit the team. They recruit Hawkeye in a really cool single take.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that single take's
This is a
awesome.
good single take.
Uh huh.
I think otherwise that scene would feel really kind of
Unnecessary?
cliche. I was
Yeah.
going to say, but because it's a one take, you're like, oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's fun to
Yeah,
watch.
the Russos know how to do good action, yeah.
Yeah, so we see this. So we see the single take, and I kind of wish the single take had ended when Nat appears. But there's one.
But there's a cut before
There's a
that.
cut.
Mhm.
And I-
Also, that actor who Bronin kills is like a very prominent Japanese actor. Who's
I've seen him
He appears in a
before.
lot of things, like some American stuff, but he's like a very famous actor.
Yeah,
and it's like it's cool, man. Even he can show up for a second.
I've seen him before.
Oh yeah.
In a Godzilla film, I think.
Ooh, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't remember which.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
Do we get Thor before or after?
It's after because I want to talk about.
Yeah, because that's when the team's getting together after.
Because Rocket and Hulk pick him up.
yeah.
'cause- so when Nat comes to Clint and says we have a chance, don't give me hope.
That
Yeah.
was such a
I'm
good
sorry
line.
I couldn't give it to you
That's
sooner.
such a rough line.
When Nat and them went to visit Tony, Natasha is wearing a necklace that's an arrow.
I saw that.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's cute.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, I really like the line that Nat says to Clint. I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they hold
real,
hands.
Yeah, that's a real good line.
Yeah.
I like the exploration of that friendship more. We haven't seen it since
Me too.
Avengers.
Yeah, because like they definitely
Age
like
of Ultron.
Steve and Nat's relationship has been explored a lot.
Yeah.
But really, like Hawkeye and Nat's, like they have the longer relationship, and we haven't seen as much of it. So I'm like you said, I'm really glad.
Only in Avengers and Age of Ultron have we gotten it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they fleshed it out.
I'm actually
more
really
and more.
glad we got a couple of friendships fleshed out more. I think this film was the first time, really, that I felt that Steve and Tony were friends.
Yeah.
Not just coworkers who were on the Avengers that got along. I felt their friendship in this movie.
I feel like I felt it half the time in Age of Ultron.
Okay, I'll accept that. But you know,
But I get your point.
throughout
Yeah,
this
yeah.
whole film, like I really felt that they were friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Civil War starts with them already kind of sniping at each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And we talked about that in our
Yep.
reviews, our rewatches.
No, I agree with you. Like once they're on the same page, they're on the same page.
Yeah, and they never differ.
Hell yeah,
They're always together.
BFFs.
And I love that. Love it. So did they go get Thor now, or did they test
so
the quantum?
Rhodey came in, and so did Nebula and Rocket, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And that was Scott losing his taco,
and then Hulk gives him 2 tacos.
which is good comedy.
yeah.
What's up,
Scott's
regular
like,
size
"Cool."
man? Then they go to see Thor,
Yeah, then they go to see Thor.
Rocket
on-
and Hulk, which
I'm-
is
I'm
a
glad it was-
good pair going to get him.
yeah,
New Asgard.
It was Thor Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok for Banner, and
Infinity War for Rocket.
Yeah, that's
Really,
awesome.
really works that was them.
And they go to Norway, which is where Odin died
No, actually, better yet, because he just dies on a random cliff in Norway. The area that New Asgard is in,
Captain
is,
America.
No,
No.
well, yes,
Yes.
but also it's the fight with the Frost Giants in Asgard in Thor, in 10 million BC.
Uh-huh.
That's the fight. That's where that's the site of that first battle.
Oh.
that we see in Thor.
And Odin told them this could be Asgard.
Yeah,
So-
I like the callback. And yeah, you're right. It is the town in
Where
in-
the test where
Where
Red
the
Skull
Tesseract
gets
was
the test.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It is also that town. So a lot of history in Norway for
It makes
Thor.
sense. It's awesome.
And so it's New Asgard, not Asgardia.
I'll
we
take
see
it.
Valkyrie,
I'm okay with New Asgard.
and I didn't expect to see Taika Waititi in this movie.
No.
Thank you.
No one did.
I wasn't super surprised. Once the moment that we were getting New Asgard, I was like, all right, Valkyrie's probably here.
Yeah.
Korg and Meek are probably here.
Once
because
Valkyrie
it was
was there.
established that they survived too. So
Yeah, I was surprised to see him, and I think Meek's cute.
Nick is cute.
when
I
he's
wasn't
just laying there eating pizza.
I'll tell you what I certainly wasn't prepared to see.
Fat Thor.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
not expecting that.
What about Nude Master 69?
Real quick.
You mean Loot Master 69?
No, it was.
It's nude. It's
Oh.
I thought it was Noob.
It was Noob Master. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Noob.
Nude Master.
No, it's Noob.
Noob.
N-O-O-B.
It's funnier if it's nude.
Nude Master doesn't.
No, because noob is a
funnier.
video game term.
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
but to me it'll always be nude.
Like
Okay.
the joke of gamer tags is like, oh, he's like Smoke Master 420.
Sure.
He's Noob Master 69.
Yeah.
Hey Thor, he's back.
So yeah, Fortnite. Real quick, there was not a brand deal. Like millions of dollars weren't exchanged. The Brewster brothers love Fortnite, and they were just like, hey, can we put Fortnite in the movie? And that's the reason it's in the movie.
And there's also lots of synergy with Fortnite and
yeah,
Avengers.
Thanos was in it. Stormbreaker's in it right now.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a cool game.
So yeah, Fat Thor.
Yeah.
Something they've hidden from us.
Thor the dude.
Yeah.
Thor the dude.
yeah.
He became Volstagg.
Yep.
Essentially, he's
yeah,
Ray Stevens.
more depression though.
Yeah, I you know what I understand. You know, when both theaters have been, and it's always been play for laughs. Like everyone's really chuckling away every single time they show his belly. But man, when Hulk says we can beat Thanos,
Yeah.
and just the whole like,
Oh, you
don't
can
say that name.
you can feel the air escape the room.
Here's the reason that so I've seen a lot of people online, and I get it, saying that like they're fat shaming and they're making fun of fat people. That's not what they're doing.
No, I don't
They,
think so.
if you had Thor stay beautiful 6-pack abs and just drink a little more, you would not have the same impact if you see him go through a physical change, showing what he's lost.
Right.
If he looks the exact same sexy, you're not going to have the same impact as seeing him as fat. Like, oh my God, look what happened to him. This is how bad
Here's
he's
the thing:
fallen.
we talked about it in our Infinity War review special, where Thor lost everything.
He's lost everything.
before Thanos.
Yeah.
Before Thanos, and then Thanos took half his people,
And then he
he
is the
failed
reason.
to kill Thanos.
That dude has been through so much shit, and like again, you need a physical transformation to show like this dude has been through so much. Like we can't tell you how much, so we have to show you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about the
Yeah.
fact that like arguably Thor was the other primary character of Infinity War
Yeah.
from Thanos.
Yeah.
And this, I would say that Thor of our Avengers characters has the most like far development arc
100%.
Across all the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Where he started to where he is
Very different.
massive.
Because this is jokey Thor, but this is now jokey Thor with mad depression.
with
So-
arguably post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, so the comedy, it's like every single joke is layered with sadness, and that's what makes a character in this movie extra.
And you can see it in his eyes.
100%.
You can
That
see it
makes
in
it
his eyes.
extra good. Like
I
oh,
really,
man.
I just want to like quickly. I'm really enjoying this new Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like what we're seeing, this re-energized Chris Hemsworth.
Him in Ragnarok, Infinity War, and this are some of his best
Like,
performances. I know that they said like they said that Thor, Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame are Bruce Banner's 3-film arc. I'm like, it's very much Thor's 3-film arc
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't disagree with the Bruce Banner thing, but it's very much a Thor 3-film arc for sure.
Yeah, I really think that moment, like the audience is going to laugh because it is funny to see, but I don't think it's
And
It's funny because it's
yeah,
sad.
yeah. To your point
Yeah.
about fat shaming, fat shaming would have been like if by the end of it, when they had to do the epic battle, they'd allowed Thor to like lightning himself back into his sexy form.
Exactly, yeah.
They keep him fat and he's still badass.
He's still kicking
that's
a
not
lot
fat
of
shaming.
ass.
Comedy and tragedy work hand in hand.
Yeah, that's not fat shaming at all.
Yeah. And also, they're not even talking about him. They're just like, dude, we have a chance to beat him, and he's like, no, I
Yeah.
killed him. Did you
Nobody's-
kill him? I didn't kill. You didn't kill him. I killed him. And then Rocket's like,
There's beer on the ship.
there's been a ship.
Nobody in the film is disappointed with Thor or
More than Thor.
or hurt or like but nobody's making fun of him, and nobody is like, oh man, Thor, because he's fat. It's
No.
because of the bad place he's clearly in.
His mental
and
spot.
fat is a side effect of that,
Like,
not
even-
the thing that everyone's looking at.
Yeah.
Like even when in the beginning of the movie when he kills Thanos, he says like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I went for the head," because
Right.
that's what that Thanos told him. He's like, "You should have gone for
But
the head."
you see it when
Yeah.
he says, "I went for the head." Like you see like the whole like, well, I failed,
Yeah.
but this time, but at least I got to kill him.
Yeah. His
Did
lust.
anyone else kill Thanos?
Yeah. His lust for revenge.
Nope.
Like
Yeah.
it didn't solve anything, and if anything, it made it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Thor's so every character is earned in this movie. I feel like every character is like so good.
every character has, it's their best version of the character.
It really
of
is.
that character.
The
Really
main
is.
characters.
Yeah.
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 All right. So they do end up recruiting Thor.
Uh-huh.
And I like Rocket's little when they go back to the building, the quantum tunnel, and Rocket's like, "You're only a genius on Earth." I like that.
Yeah. He calls him Ratchet at first.
Ratchet. I don't know if that was a reference to Ratchet and Clank, but I liked it anyway.
100%, baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thor and Hulk and Rocket and Tony building things together. That's neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. So they build the quantum tunnel, and they're going to test the new quantum.
This is where
suit.
we get our time travel rules explained.
Yes, and it's Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Well, Dragon Ball Z didn't invent it, but yes,
No,
that's the
but-
most recent
but
one.
it is a very clear pop culture. Like, if you know Dragon Ball Z, like, look to Dragon Ball Z. Those are the time travel rules. Because I've had a lot of conversations with people who don't understand the time travel rules, and they're like, why is this a problem? Why would that? How does this work? It's very simple.
They
Multiverse
one
theory.
line. No, yes, one line very easily explains. It doesn't change the future; it just changes the past.
Right.
That's so easy to explain.
Hulk's line, it does explain it really well. I've had a few people I know who, like, they heard it, but they're like, I don't understand it.
And you know what? I've seen a lot of people talk about how it doesn't make any sense. You know what? I don't care. It doesn't break the logic of the film.
Yes.
The film follows its own rules.
Yes. Back
And
to the
that's-
Future is bullshit.
And that is, see, that's the thing. That's the thing that I appreciate when it comes to time travel. You can do time travel; it's not real. You can make up whatever rules what you want.
Yes.
However, if you break your own rules, then you break the fabric of the film. If you keep the rules and follow them, then you're
So
golden.
here's a tweet, and I agree with you. Here's a tweet that I retweeted. My personal hot take about time travel is it's never once made sense in a movie or TV show because it's fucking literal nonsense. So let me tell you, it frees up so much time when I don't have to worry about plot holes because of time travel. And I agree. Once time travel is involved, it only adds complications and problems when you start thinking, oh, but won't this do this? It's not real. This is all fake. Just let it happen.
Okay, so the sum up time travel rules is just every time that they do something in the past, if it changes anything, it's creating an alternate timeline, and it's not the timeline they exist in.
The future
Yes.
is still the same.
Right.
yes.
yes.
The reason why I make the reference to Dragon Ball Z is because obviously I'm watching Super right now.
That's what Trunks does all the time.
Trunks, when he goes
And
back
Cell.
when Trunks goes back in time, whenever he goes forward in time, it's always to his future. It's never to the future he's created.
He tried to prevent his bad future from happening, but that's not how it works.
But he can't.
He creates an alternate timeline where they defeat the androids and Goku didn't die from the heart virus, but it doesn't change that his timeline was still ravaged by the androids.
Yes, and he is
Same
able to
thing,
go to his timeline.
Same rules with Cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Those are the rules.
It makes sense.
So, yeah, the stones are
Within the
destroyed in
film.
our timeline. They are destroyed.
We need to
go
again.
get them from another timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, by the way, it's explained again by the Ancient One.
Yeah. With a
Yes.
literal, like
Yes,
graph chart.
although I will acknowledge that, like, the way she says it did confuse some people because, again, like, I was trying to talk through the time travel rules, and they're like, so it only matters as long as the Infinity Stones are pulled out. They control the flow of time, and I'm like, I think it just applies to time travel in general, but they're using the Infinity Stones as an example, but the Ancient One kind of phrased it in a way where it makes it sound like the Infinity Stones create the flow of time.
Right.
And that got a little weird.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like the bit where it's like, these are pin particles. Because he's not around, we can't get more of these.
Yeah.
And then we only have one round trip. We have one round trip for each of us and two test runs.
One test run. And then I love how
I
Clint
like it's like, oh shit.
I love how Clint decides to get into the suit and do the whole go back in time for the first time, and he sees
Goes to see his kid.
Oh man!
that's
or he
rough.
hears his kid, and then he gets like zapped back, and it's
Yep.
like, "Hey, it worked." Then we get the great trailer shot of them walking in the quantum suits,
Steve telling his speech.
which is awesome.
He's a good speech
Good speech.
maker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah,
right?
he is.
I kind of expected Avengers Assemble to happen there.
Yeah.
Before they enter the
I
quantum
didn't
realm.
entirely, but
Yeah.
I could have seen it.
Yeah.
I could see it, but I expected a final. Whatever
Yeah.
the
So-
final battle is going to be.
But before all that, we didn't even talk about they're planning the time heist.
Man, this
Okay.
this is probably my favorite shit in the movie.
This is one of my favorite scenes.
They're sitting around
I
talking
just
about
love.
a time heist.
I just love how they're talking about it.
Yeah.
It reminds me so much of films like The Italian Job,
Yeah.
where they're planning and they're going through everything.
Even like a Fast and the Furious, maybe.
Yeah, they're planning how they're gonna pull this heist off. And I love how they're just. My favorite part is when they're talking about Doctor Strange, who has the time stone, and then they're just
on
like,
Bleecker Street.
yeah, they're like Bleecker Street is like, and then Black Widow finally is like, guys, if you pick the right year, then we got 3 stones in New York.
Yeah.
Then Hulk gets up, and goes, shut the front door.
Well, because like you see them clearly they've been talking about this for hours. So then they're just like
Yeah.
shooting the shit. Like, oh, he lives on like what the hell street does he live on? And then Black Widow's like, wait a minute, guys. 3 of them are here with the right year, and they're like, holy shit.
They got
guys.
as
Holy
Sparks pointed out to me. They got real lucky. The Ancient One was in New York at that time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then you also have
And using the Eye of Agamotto, because she doesn't always.
Yeah.
yeah, and then you also have Thor talking about the ether.
Yes, so
I like that.
that's where they start. They start with Thor, like,
Uh-huh.
Thor, tell us about the Reality Stone. And Thor's,
Well, it's not a
first of all,
stone.
he's
It's more of a
asleep.
gloopy. It's a gloopy,
is he
gloppy
asleep?
thing.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
That's a good one.
And so Thor then explains to everyone how The Dark World is a very important movie
Oh,
in the
it's so
MCU
good.
franchise.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it is.
And I love it because you can guarantee every actor in that room hadn't thought about Thor: The Dark World if they've even seen it in years.
Yeah.
And then they're all just listening to Thor have to go,
Dark
all
World
right,
gets so much
Dark
play.
Elves. Ooh.
Yeah.
And here's Jane Foster.
My old flame.
Here's Jane Foster. I got to take her to Asgard and introduce her to my mother, who's dead.
That
actually
hurt.
Jane and me aren't even together anymore.
I really like the way that all the Avengers are handling it. Some are just like
Hulk's
ooh,
like he's
and
like,
Hulk's
dude,
like
cut it out.
and Tony's just trying to like be
But
there for him.
Scott's
Only
reaction just
one.
Yeah, Scott. Oh yeah, Scott.
He's
Scott
the only one who's into it. He's the one who's like,
so
yeah, tell me.
fascinated.
We
Scott
forgot-
would love Thor:
yeah.
The Dark World.
That's true. He's also like, when they first start talking about Infinity Stone, he's like, I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking
No, yeah,
about.
there's like all of us have had at least an encounter with one of the Infinity Stones, and then Scott's like, I haven't, but I don't even know what you're talking about.
And, then,
so good.
and I also love how Tony comes in and is like, replacing Counter with almost got killed by one.
Except Scott has, and he doesn't realize it because Vision passed through him, and he had the Mind Stone.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Could you
True,
imagine
true,
going
true.
back to Civil War? Oh my god.
Hey, Vision, we got to do a thing. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh man. Real quick, like Vision's not in the movie, so
No.
I think we could talk about it anywhere. I'm surprised there wasn't anything.
I think I definitely had him on my bingo card.
I
that
did
he
too.
would return.
I did too.
I think so. I think I did too. I was surprised.
And
I was
again,
wrong.
More marketing stuff. I saw a
yeah,
white
I saw
Vision.
Vision without Mind Stone.
I saw a white Vision toy. So I think that's just a toy.
We weren't even debating would he appear. We were debating would he appear with or without the Mind Stone.
We
were real wrong.
Surprise! He doesn't
Again,
appear at all.
Like everything we thought that happened with Nebula would be more like comic stuff, but again, like it completely subverted everything with both those characters.
Yeah.
Both Nebulas.
Yeah.
So Vision is not
Not
in the movie.
Gone.
Yeah.
But Scott loving Thor: The Dark World
I love
explanation
it.
is really good.
Yeah, keep talking, Thor.
And then there's the explanation of Vormir and the
Uh-huh.
Soul Stone being there, which Nebula gives, and then
Oh,
she's
man.
like, "Yep, that's where Thanos killed my sister." And
Scott,
they're all
once
just sitting
again.
there really uncomfortable, and Scott,
Yeah.
not it.
But I think Hulk is eating a hunk of Hulk of burning fudge.
He
Oh,
is.
shit.
Yes,
really?
the big
I
ice
saw.
cream
I
gallon.
saw it does have the Ben and Jerry's logo on
Yeah.
it. That is.
That's
I
a
saw
planet
for sure.
puppy. Do you want to go to space, little puppy?
Oh.
I'll take you to space.
Oh, Rocket,
I love
you
Ant-Man so
condescending
much.
douchebag!
Ant-Man is a breath of fresh air in this movie.
Scott
Yeah.
being with these characters.
I
is
love
so
him.
good.
You know
I
what's, you know
love
what's so great
Paul
about
Rudd in this movie.
You know what's so
Yeah.
great about having? I just realized Scott in this movie. He's the only one who's new to this. Like
Yeah.
he's not new to the Avengers. He's new to what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything is fresh for him. For us, for all these characters, they're just kind of like,
They're used to big cosmic stuff.
what are we going
Yeah.
to do?
Well, and they've been living with this for 5 years,
Yeah.
and Scott's like, "Man, 5 hours ago, before all this, I was just hanging out with people,
Yeah.
like it was all normal.
Yeah, let's
Not anymore. Yeah,
What are we going to do about this? I like Scott's kind of like, yeah, we can keep talking, Thor the Dark World. I
Yeah.
like Tony's little like, let's go, buddy, let's go. Come on.
I'm not finished yet.
Yeah. That's also, by the way, talking more about Thor. Like Thor, he has a breakdown.
Yeah.
He's having an anxiety breakdown in, in that moment.
well, when we get to Dark World.
no, when he's talking
explaining
about
the Reality Stone.
yeah.
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's having a full breakdown. He's just starting to kind of fall
The
apart. That's when
emotions are
Tony.
coming back.
That's when Tony kind of steps up and he's like, "Hey man, you okay?" He's like, "You want some eggs, breakfast?" I'd like a Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
bounces back okay
Yeah.
from that one. The
So-
real breakdown comes later.
Yeah.
So they have their plan. They have
Yeah.
their teams.
Yep.
Let's get going.
Shit's crazy, dude.
So that's the end of effectively part one
Act
of this
1.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Act 2 starts New York 2012.
2012.
Which
Like,
is great.
that's. I know we all collectively went, holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit.
They're doing it. They did
Holy-
it.
And you know what? I didn't see Avengers in IMAX. Now I have. Now I've seen Avengers in the Dark World and Guardians.
I just want to say, 8 years later,
Still good.
6 years later since Avengers.
Yeah.
7 years. Since
Still
Avengers.
effective.
We're in that shot, that swirly shot, still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still good.
Still
And
great.
and we got this is like we got more Avengers footage than we actually.
I want to
Yeah.
wait to, because
Okay.
because my favorite stuff in the movie is coming up.
Yeah.
I do like I do like how they're like, okay, Hulk, you go get the time stone, and just like, Hulk shows up, just destroys the Chitauri.
Professor Hulk's wearing a shirt. And he's like, I guess I got to take my shirt off now.
He rips it off, and then he's like, feels a bit gratuitous at this point, but whatever. And he just goes to a cab and just goes,
Well, no, because Captain America's like, you might want to smash something along the way, and it's Mark Ruffalo. He's just like, rawr. Yeah, dude, this is probably the best stuff in the movie. Maybe.
Not in that moment, but Tony Stark's Iron Man outfit is designed more like the classic, as far as where the yellow and red
Yeah.
is.
I
thought that was cool.
So I've having rewatched all these films, the Infinity War outfit is not my favorite.
Yeah.
Not so much as just how it works. I don't like the design. It feels rubbery and
Too
fake to
fluidy.
me.
Well, it is. I mean, it is. As opposed
Nano.
to being pieces, it is nanotech. So like,
So
yeah,
is the
it
one in
does.
this.
Yeah.
But I think
this one is bulkier.
I think this suit looks better.
I do too.
I like this one better.
I do agree.
I agree. I've never been a big fan of nano suits to begin with.
I love it.
I mean, I like
Yeah.
nano suits. I
Yeah.
just think this one is
I
designed
think the
better.
design of this looks better.
Yeah,
especially
the
his power capacity thing with Thor.
yeah, the design of this one looks really good.
Yeah. So okay, let's talk about
Hulk gets to
Time heist.
the ancient one.
yeah. So that they go to the ancient one. Man, when Tilda Swinton shows up in this movie, I'm like, oh shit.
I wasn't expecting that.
The moment she hit him and he separated, I thought we were going to get Hulk and Banner separated.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Yeah, me
that's where
too.
we were heading, and I got real pumped. I was like, are we about to have like Ancient One therapy with Hulk and Banner?
Oh, that'd be
And,
great.
and it didn't happen, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
I kind of liked the kind of explanation of what was going on Bleecker Street. Like she was just killing Chitauri, just
And he that got
whatever.
too close to the sanctum.
Yeah,
she'd
just
take
kind
him
of
out.
just making sure. Okay, nope. As like, I'm looking for Doctor Strange. He's about 20 blocks that way.
You're 5 years
actually.
too early.
That's the shit that's really
It's
good.
not even weird that she knows that, and I'm glad that's the case.
Yes,
Yeah.
because she knows.
She knows
she's
everything
coming.
up to the point of her death.
Yeah. I like when Hulk's trying to go inside. She's like, I wouldn't do that. We just had the floors waxed.
Just she's still super charming.
She's all.
like,
I love.
I like
Tilda
Tilda Swinton as the ancient one.
Yeah.
she knows what's going on too. Like she's so smart. She's the ancient one.
5 years, by the way. Sets Doctor Strange 2017. Just gonna.
Yes, I noticed that too, and I
Yep.
was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I mean, it doesn't.
That's fine.
It doesn't break anything.
No. It at least sets the events. It doesn't set Doctor Strange the movie. It sets the ending events of Doctor Strange, where
Yeah.
he's living in the Sanctum in New York as 2017.
Yes. Yeah. I liked how I like Thor. I don't. Sorry, I just really like Thor in this movie.
Yes.
I really just liked Tilda Swinton because once Tilda Swinton shows up, you're like, I wonder who else can
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a cameo. Oh, baby, we got more cameos.
Well, I
Cool,
feel
cool,
like we'd
cool.
heard Tilda Swinton was probably showing up in this one.
I didn't.
I don't
I
remember.
didn't. I didn't.
I don't remember us talking. I'll remember us talking.
There are
about
two
it.
specific cameos where I'm like, oh wow, really? I mean, and I'll say it's
wonder
not.
if the
It's not
second-
Natalie Portman because I don't think that.
No,
counts.
that's not the one.
Yeah.
I know one of them for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we get what happened after the Avengers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
After that little pose, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I loved seeing this
Even-
whole like. Okay, we can pose later. Let's get him up.
Because it is
Yeah.
funny. They are posing. You're like, well, this is stupid.
But my second favorite line of the whole movie is like, Mr. Rogers, I forgot how that suit did no favors to your ass.
I don't even know why you're looking at it, Tony.
What does Ant-Man say though?
Ant-Man says, "This is a great ass, Captain America."
As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
I like his little salute.
Salute that no one can see.
That and then the callback joke to it later might be my favorite joke in the movie.
My
Like,
favorite line of the whole movie is after he's beaten his second self.
Yeah.
And he just goes,
that is.
You know,
"That is America."
Yeah.
Tony Stark has Peter Parker. Captain America has Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott is a massive fan of
Yeah.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Totally right.
You're absolutely right.
That's so.
Okay,
Geek,
flick me.
geek boys about him all the time.
Yeah. Okay, flip me.
So yeah, so time heist. They need to get the space stone.
Yeah. Oh man.
And
oh,
the
man.
scepter.
We didn't even talk about like when Sitwell and Rumlow get off that elevator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
They're
shocked.
Shield. Well, actually, they're Hydra, but we didn't
Didn't know that. Really? They look evil.
Yeah.
It is true. They do look evil.
Okay, this is actually one of my favorite. When I talked about earlier about comic book references, this is the first one.
There's multiple good ones.
There
Oh,
is,
yeah.
but this is the first one that really got me because obviously we all read Steve Rogers' Captain America.
Hell yeah,
That's
baby.
that was the run where he famously said "Hail Hydra," and when he gets inside the elevator with Sitwell and
Not only that, but it being an inverse situation of the elevator.
Yeah.
Scene from Winter
I
Soldier.
was so
with some of the same dudes, not just Rumlow on it.
Rumble
Yeah.
and Sitwell. I
It's
was so
scarred dude.
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know
I
his
was
name.
so expecting Cap to say before we get started, saying we want to get off
Same.
again. But then when
But
he
he
was
did
talking to
something
Sitwell, I was
better.
like, "Oh no, I'll run point on the thing," and they're all confused. He leans over and says, "Hell Hydra." I'm like, "Oh,
And his pleased as punch that
That
worked.
worked. Yeah.
He's just kind of like, yeah.
He's just walking,
man.
just him walking by with that Hail Hydra." I'm like, we finally, because I was, truth be told, I was kind of hoping that Chris Evans would come back and do a Secret Empire film. Obviously, it's not going to happen now, but
I mean, anything's possible.
anything's possible.
Yeah.
But just seeing Chris Evans lean over and just even give a tiny little reference to that run, I'm like, okay, this got me hook,
If
line,
we're,
and sinker.
Talking about this, we skipped one earlier. We missed a Cosmic Ghost Rider reference.
What was the Cosmic Ghost?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, kill
Go
Baby
back
Thanos.
and kill
Kill
Thanos.
Baby
as a
Thanos.
That is
baby.
100%.
That was a Cosmic Ghost Rider
just a
reference.
little-
That was great.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Yeah, let's just guillotine a baby Thanos.
and
Yeah.
Hulk's like, okay, that's disgusting.
yeah, yeah.
But it's Thanos.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
And then Rhodey's like, but it's Thanos.
To talk about the elevator scene, the guy you're talking about who's standing in front of Steve, if I remember correctly, I believe he's the stunt coordinator
Is
for
he?
the films. I'm
Because
pretty
he's also in
confident.
Batman v Superman.
No, he's the KG Beast guy. Yeah,
He's
no,
KG Beast
he's,
in BVS.
It's not that guy.
Oh, is it not?
No, that's a action actor guy.
Okay, because somebody who was in the elevator scene for Winter
There were
Soldier
multiple regular
is like
dudes.
the guy
Yeah.
who coordinates most of the stunts for those
Okay,
films.
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's him. So after he gets the scepter,
Sorry, real quick, I also want to point out this is the first point where they create an alternate timeline, by the way.
yes,
One where now they believe that Cap is Hydra.
yeah,
Which you could explain away
Yes.
later by saying that they believe that was Loki instead of him, and then that
or
timeline's
he,
fixed.
or he gave the scepter. I mean, it depends on when he gave the scepter back.
We'll talk.
What point in
We'll
time?
talk about that shit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Iron Man and Ant-Man are now on the ground floor of Stark Tower, and Robert Redford shows up.
They make Hulk take the stairs.
Another great. Poor Hulk.
Hulk hates stairs.
So many stairs. And they're all like, don't punch the elevator.
Hate stairs. And then, or even Loki, he does another Captain America impression.
He does another Captain America impression.
And then Thor finally throws the thing on him and says, "Shut up."
I want to touch on. There's a fun throwback to Avengers again. There's tons, but when Tony jumps out the window, he falls like he does in Avengers when he's thrown out the Avengers.
This whole movie is a lot of that.
I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're on the ground floor. Robert Redford's trying to get the Tesseract. As far as he's concerned, it's been S.H.I.E.L.D. property for 70 years.
Spark also came up to me and said, "Hey, there's another whatchamacallit? What was I gonna say? There's another reference to Avengers because Thor walks up and they're like, "Where are you taking him?" He's like, "Well, first lunch and then Asgard."
Oh, it's the shawarma scene.
Yeah, and then I went, "Oh, that does make sense." Who was holding Loki while they got shawarma?
Man, he should have just chilling in the background.
I really just wanted a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent outside holding him on like a leash.
Yeah.
And they that does not go well.
No.
Although I do like Loki. I do like Loki's whole like watching the caves fly back. He's like, what just happened?
Well, Hulk screws up.
Robert Redford was one of the cameos. I was like,
that's the one where I was like, oh,
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
That was a great one. Seeing him back on screen as a
Secretary Pierce.
as Secretary Pierce was like, this is great.
I like who's this guy? He's the guy above Fury.
So give me the briefcase.
Yeah. And like, no, it's not a jurisdiction problem. I don't know what the argument was supposed to be, but probably was a bunch of ad lib. But it was cool to see that. And they try to take the Tesseract. It doesn't work. Loki gets the Tesseract.
Yeah, the briefcase opens, Tesseract falls out, Loki grabs it, escapes.
Creates an
alternate timeline.
Creates a Disney Plus timeline.
There is I don't think that's where they're
No,
going
it's not because they fix it.
Depending on where they put it
We'll
back.
talk about it later.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on when to put the scepter back.
Yeah.
Maybe Cap does it twice.
Cap fixes
They
literally.
can't- no,
Cap
he can't-
fixes almost everything.
He can't put that Tesseract back
We'll figure it out.
because he has to put the Tesseract back in
I mean, but
1970.
he could go down. He could put the scepter back and then just be like, okay, wait, hold on, I got to stop a thing.
Let's talk about all this nonsense stuff later.
But I think it's an opening for the Disney Plus series, but I'm not sure if that's where they're going to go with it.
Yes, I agree. It's an idea.
It is an alternate time.
Sure, it's left a lot of people very curious.
Yeah, Loki is not alive in our current timeline.
No.
He is just alive in an alternate timeline.
Yes.
Potentially. It doesn't even guarantee he's alive. It just means he got away at the end of Avengers.
Right.
Yeah.
So they fail.
Yes.
But Steve cuts down there. They're sitting in a destroyed
but Steve's
car.
trying to find out what's happened to them, and he gets interrupted by Steve Rogers.
Now, one of my favorite lines is when he's where he's on the comm, and then he comes up and says, "You gotta be shitting me."
You gotta be shitting me.
I mean, I feel like it wants to reference Ultron a little bit when Tony says shit. Like when Tony says shit, and then you hear his daughter say it, and he's like, "Well, look, I got some important shit to do," and she's like, "Shit, stop!" And then he
Shit's
says
got
it.
a lot of play in this movie.
Yeah, but also, I mean, come on, 5 years after all the crap that Captain America's been through, he's over that. But I just love how he's just like
He was never not. The line in the Age of Ultron is just.
Are you on my
slipped
side on this
out.
one?
No, I'm not. That's
Okay.
a good line in Age of Ultron, but
Okay.
it just slipped out. He's
Yeah.
always cursed.
Yeah, but I just love how he just stares at his other self and goes, "You gotta be shitting." Out of all the people he runs into, himself.
Yeah,
I got
just
eyes
love-
on Loki.
Oh no, I'm not Loki.
Or what the bit where he's just like, I can do this all day. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
And then he's got him at chokehold and says, "Bucky is alive."
I like that he knows his own triggers. He's like,
Yeah.
Bucky is alive.
How do you
Yeah.
know that? Punch in the face.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "That is America's ass."
Man,
That's the best line.
I've been laughing at that line for 3 days.
I think Ben just recapped us through this whole scene. Does anybody else?
Nope, we're good. Moving on.
Every meme I see about America's ass makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
My favorite has been, all right, here's the challenge. Post as many pictures you can referencing Avengers Endgame without spoiling anything.
Oh, yeah.
And
America's
it's like,
ass.
I'll start, and it's just a picture of a dude wearing American flag underwear,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's his ass. And
yeah,
I was like, well done.
Yep.
Well done, sir.
that is America's ass.
Should we talk about the Asgard scene now?
The Dark,
Is that
Thor:
next?
The Dark World.
Thor: Dark
sequence.
World.
It all happens like the same
all happening
time.
at the same
In that
time.
Captain America scene, it's the second time we see the Peggy Carter picture.
Yeah.
A lot of
Oh,
foreshadowing
yeah. Oh,
for
yeah.
exactly where this movie was headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't get it, it's like, yeah.
Almost kind of like they were like, yeah, that Sharon Carter thing's real weird.
It's not surprising when you consider the fact that these guys have written the last two Captain America films, these two Avengers films, and Agent Carter.
Yeah.
So
Which
it's
we'll
not
get
shocking.
into in my
Yeah.
Most shocking cameo.
That's the coolest one. I would say.
I would argue that is even more shocking than Robert Redford.
I agree. I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haley Atwell?
No.
James Darcy.
Jarvis.
As Jarvis.
James Darcy.
Yeah, that guy.
From the Agent Carter
who had
TV
never been in
series.
the films before.
It's great. It's so good.
Yeah.
A canceled TV series. Like, who knew?
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
It was on the Coulson was above James Darcy.
Actually, a bunch of people, like downright nerdy, they had Daredevil on their bingo cards. They didn't...
Hey, dream big.
Yeah.
Yeah, dream big.
You know
I
what?
was kind of hoping, but...
If they were ever going to reference the TV series, referencing Agent Carter was on the low. It was not on my list.
No, that was like...
It really... It makes more sense to have a smaller scale character that you can do that with, because than just randomly Daredevil showing up.
And also,
as awesome, of course, as that would be,
it is
but
a TV series that is canceled. There's no, there's no contractual obligation.
And also, the first time we saw it in our theater, when Howard says, "Is like, hey Jarvis, do we know a guy?" There are a few people a few rows behind us, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's Jarvis! Is that where Tony got the name
Yeah,
from?"
a lot of people. I
Because
noticed a lot of people don't know he's from.
Yeah,
the
they
TV
obviously
series.
never saw the TV show.
But
Yeah.
it works on that second level. It works on two levels. One, it works on a level. Oh, Jarvis. The other level is Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which my favorite Marvel TV show.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, we know.
So,
Of
okay.
all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of the MCU ones.
Not Runaways, not
Not
Cloak and
Runaways,
Dagger. We're
not
not
Cloak
talking
and
about
Dagger.
those.
Well, do we? Do we want to count those?
That's why I was just curious. We don't need to talk about this now.
Of the Netflix shows, the ABC shows, and the Freeform shows, and Runaways, of all the current Marvel shows
Yeah.
that
Okay.
we have seen since the start of the
Okay,
MCU.
Okay. It's
it is
Agent Carter. Sure.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mostly because
This
I like
Friday
the
is on ABC.
canceled.
Oh.
Oh.
4 years ago this Friday.
Oh,
3
wow.
years from now on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Asgard scene. Let's get to Thor: The Dark World.
Where Thor
Sure.
does have a full-on anxiety attack, and he tries
I
to...
liked his little anxiety. He's like, I can't do this. Like, Rock is like, come here, right here, slap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, Rocket says the same thing from Guardians 2. He's like, we've all lost people. We all have dead people.
But
Guardians 1.
Sorry, Guardians 1.
But also, he takes it one step further. I've lost the only family I ever had.
Yeah.
Quill, Drax, Groot,
the chick with the
antennas. Yeah, I like he name
Now
drops them. He's like,
Yeah.
I've lost my family.
Yeah.
Your mom is gone. Gone. But we have a lot of people who are only kind of gone.
Yeah.
That's such a weird line, too. But,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's
Right.
just like,
But
wow,
it is a good one.
But
it is a great one.
because it sets up. We can't bring back Frigga. We can't bring back Loki. We can't bring back Odin. We can't bring back anyone who's died.
I think Frigga's being in this movie is probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't Odin.
Yeah.
Me too. It wasn't needed.
Yeah, we had that.
He had a good send-off.
He never got to say goodbye to Frigga.
No.
Yeah.
And I like that he was able to.
Yeah.
He was finally given that moment.
And she, being born of witches, like, she immediately knows, like, oh, you're a different Thor.
You're not.
And
you're not
she's
Thor.
she's not. I'm not gonna say wiser than Odin, but she's a different kind of wisdom.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Odin.
Oh, yeah.
A more personal kind that
A more-
gets to like if he got half of a lesson from Odin in Ragnarok, this is the other half of the lesson he
Yes.
needed from his mom.
Yes,
Mhm.
I like that a lot. I like the whole Frigga scene, and
Thor: The Dark World is necessary.
I know.
I mean, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
We don't have to like it.
You know what?
No, you don't have to like that movie, but this is necessary.
You know what? I kind of like it better in hindsight.
Thor Ragnarok and this movie make that movie better.
They do.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets the hammer, taking the hammer from himself in the timeline.
We'll talk about that later, but because we'll talk about that later. But I love the scene that he has with his mom, where they're like, because Brandon, one of the things that gets you is father and son stories. One thing that gets me is a mother reconnecting with her son, or when a son loses his mom and gets one last chance to talk to her one last time.
Yeah.
That always gets me.
Thor has been able to say goodbye to every single person who's died in his life, except for Frigga.
Yeah. So
and she gives him a valuable lesson, like, hey, don't be the person you're supposed to be. Be the person that you are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to keep trying to aspire to be something.
The reason I like that scene so much is because not only is that the lesson for Thor, that's kind of the lesson for the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody fails at who they're supposed to be. Everybody in this movie failed at who they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they can do better at who they are.
Yeah.
And who is Tony?
I'm gonna start crying already.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's good.
But also, I love the part where he like holds down his hands. Rocket's like, "What? What are we doing? What am I looking at?" She's like, "Oh, it takes a second."
takes a
and then
second.
he gets Mjolnir, and he's just ecstatic that I'm
They
still
kind of-
worthy.
They kind of retroactively gave Thor: The Dark World the tone of Thor Ragnarok for a second.
Almost, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because it when he calls the hammer in Thor: The Dark World, it always comes back like immediately. Like the bit where the only cool shot in the whole movie when he jumps off the ledge to go to the
And it's
thing,
there. Yeah.
it's there.
Now, real quick, the second he got Mjolnir, we all knew Cap was picking it up, right?
Yeah.
The second that he got the regular hammer, I knew, all right, Cap is absolutely picking
I
it
had
up.
I'll be honest, I didn't even think about it.
Really?
Nope.
Because I wouldn't have thought about it with Stormbreaker, but he gets Mjolnir. I'm like, oh, fan service
You know
time,
what?
baby.
I thought that he was gonna. I was like, he might pick that up.
I
thought about it, but then like 2 minutes
At the
later,
ti- at
but
the
then the
time,
next scene,
no.
I forgot about it.
At the time, no, I didn't think about it because I'm not thinking about it. Just
I was,
in the
I,
moment.
I was just in the movie. I wasn't thinking about what that meant or where
Yeah.
it was headed.
I thought more than anything he would get the hammer and turn into Thor.
But I'll
again.
tell you, when it happened later, I went, man, I think we all should have put that on our bingo space. I can't believe we didn't think about it.
because I didn't think he'd go visit the Dark World.
Yeah,
I
we
thought for sure the hammer was gone forever.
exactly.
right. But then we should have thought about time travel,
Yeah, but like,
which we were all pretty confident was. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming us. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like. We were all confident that by the time this movie came around, a while back before Mjolnir was destroyed,
Yeah.
we would see this.
Yeah.
And then none of us thought about putting it
My-
on the bingo space. And I'm
my
like,
two
why
th-
didn't that?
My two things ever since Avengers, maybe Age of Ultron, my two things that I've always wanted from whatever this film was going to be at the time I first thought of this was Cap picking up the hammer and Tony dying.
And
Those-
Captain America saying Avengers Assemble.
Oh, yeah, actually, specifically, Cap picking up the hammer saying Avengers Assemble and Tony dying. Those are the two things I was
Sure.
like, those have to happen in that whatever that last movie is. I got them both.
yeah,
And they did.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, so Thor: The Dark World, it's a good sequence, actually. Really
Rocket
interesting.
sneaking around Natalie Portman. He has to stab her.
Natalie Portman probably from a deleted
Probably.
scene.
Probably.
I think, yeah. When you said that, Brandon, and then I saw it again, I'm like, absolutely.
Because there's a scene when we see Rocket, it must be a body double because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't see her
Uh-huh.
face.
Yeah, and every other shot of her, she's very far away. It's body
it's definitely
double.
a double. Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely have some audio from her that I don't remember.
That audio
Is it in Dark
is a
World?
deleted scene from,
Okay.
from the Dark World.
Okay.
That I've seen that deleted scene. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know where her waking up comes
Man,
from.
we should have done like a deleted scene review.
It is still cool that she's in the movie at all, though.
Yeah.
It is a nice little. Hey,
And
look
she
at
went to that premiere.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Who knows the future with Jane Foster?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Rocket gets called Rabbit by all the Asgardians. Which
Get
I thought
that
was
rabbit.
nice.
I heard that too. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was funny.
All right, so let's talk about.
I really thought they were going to go for a scream, like off-screen Natalie Portman scream, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
Rocket running around the corner. I was surprised we didn't
Oh,
get
they
that kind of
definitely
comedy.
should have done
I
that.
kind of expected it. I was expecting a behind a corner in
Yeah.
a door, and you hear it and scream, and then Rocket running out chased by the Asgardian guards. I was kind of surprised that wasn't the comedy
Get
bit
that
we got.
rabbit.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the Morag sequence specifically.
Yeah, let's get before we get to the sad one.
Yeah. So let's talk about Morag.
Yeah, Peter
They
Quill
go
sure
back-
is an idiot.
They go back to. So he's an idiot.
So 3 times watching this, why do you guys think that they even leave the space pod for Nebula and Rhodey?
I have no idea.
What do you mean?
Communication maybe.
Yeah, because she goes to, hey, Rocket.
Oh, yeah.
In case
No,
something
I
goes
know,
wrong?
but like,
In case something goes wrong.
I guess it
Yeah.
didn't even look like it was that effective anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't.
No, I'm just wondering because they both poured out with the PIM particles, so why did they even have a pod?
Just in case, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was curious about that too. I think it probably story-wise needs something.
I think I genuinely believe that the real answer is just that it was needed to get Nebula out there so she could be abducted by Thanos.
Yeah.
But I just was like, why do they leave a pod? They
Yeah, 'cause
just
there's
PIM
no-
particle away.
I
There's
actually
no
wasn't
real-
thinking. I wasn't thinking about that.
It took
actually.
3 times for me to actually think about that. So
I like.
That's
You know
interesting.
what?
Maybe in case they need to go to Vormir to get Nat and
They have a ship,
Barton
though.
But we'll
for some
talk about
reason.
we'll talk about Vormir
Vormir
in a
later.
moment. But I do like seeing Clint and Natasha say goodbye to Rhodey.
yeah,
I like that. You know, it's the
banter
hug.
between the 3 of them is good.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. You want to know also one of the saddest lines? The last thing that before they enter the quantum realm, Nat says, "I'll see you in a minute,"
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll see you in a minute.
yeah.
and then a minute later, she's not there.
right.
yeah.
God damn it, guys, that was real good.
But we'll.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that. I want to give that one a
Yeah.
moment.
The pairing of Nebula and Rhodey was inspired.
Yeah.
I think all these pairings are like real good.
But I mean, like a lot of them, you kind of see it.
Yeah.
But Nebula and Rhodey is not the pairing I anticipated.
Not at all. Yeah.
When
you're right.
we're queued up to the sequence to another sequence on Morag when he gets the hammer and they quantum away. Thor gets the hammer and quantums away. Then we hear the dun 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 dun. We hear the "Come and Get Your Love" song starting.
Before that, we have Nebula and Rhodey, and Nebula says we need to take cover.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the only ones looking for the stones
Right.
in 2014, which cuts to Nebula, Gamora, and Thanos
Oh, yeah.
in 2014.
Hell
And
yeah.
Ebony Maw.
And Ebony Maw.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because Nebula is getting flashes from her other
This
self.
is so awesome and comic booky. They exist in the same time
So
frame.
they were screwed over by the cloud.
Yeah, no, literally, Wi-Fi is the ruining of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Literally, it's Wi-Fi.
Damn you,
I
Wi-Fi!
love that so much. That it's so comic book silly.
Yeah, I like. It gives it. I wasn't sure that was where that was going. I was really shocked to see, like, oh shit, they're
Yeah.
screwed. And
That's
then-
how Thanos gets back in
that's
this
how
game,
Thanos gets
baby.
back.
I love it.
So, but this is a good place to put it. So we see him in 2014.
Yep.
We have seen him in 2014 before, looking way more purple.
Mm-hmm.
And without a sword.
And without a sword. I figured out why I have an issue with his purpleness, his Infinity War purpleness specifically. Because I can't see red and purple, he looks gray.
Oh, okay.
To me, Thanos just looks gray.
In these movies?
In Infinity War and Endgame, he just looks gray.
Yeah.
So my colorblindness...
And in Guardians of the Galaxy, he looked more
he
purple?
looks more blue.
Okay.
But there's...
But you get it more.
I get it more. I get that there is a... That
the
there is
vibrancy level stands out to you, and in this, he's not very vibrant. He's just kind of a gray man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Okay.
very... So I'm just kind of like, oh, that's unfortunate.
That's your color blindness.
I wonder
Yeah.
what does he look like to you guys?
Purple.
Oh, that's nice.
Just not as bright a purple as Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy,
he's
but he
darker
looks purple.
Yeah.
He looks more like a matte purple than a shiny purple.
Yeah.
I do.
That must be nice.
I don't wish that he was as bright purple as he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I do wish he was a little bit more bright purple than he is here.
Yeah. Because
I feel like there's a happy middle ground that they didn't go for, and I
Yeah.
wish they had. But I also wonder if they tried and maybe he didn't. He looked less real
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe.
because he doesn't look very real when he's that bright purple in Guardians.
Yeah.
he does look like a more CGI character. He does look real in this, but they also matte down some colors. Oh, I was going to bring that up. So they have the Avengers, the first Captain America costume in this movie, and I didn't love it as much in this movie because it is grayed down. And
It is
not
grayed
as
down.
bright.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things about it is that it's bright.
Yeah.
Not as bright in this movie.
Yeah, very much,
When you get to the Avengers moment, and even Thor: The Dark World to an extent, you see. Well, I think Thor: The Dark World actually has a different problem. When you get back to the Avengers, you see the difference in how the Russos use color from when from
From
Joss
when
Whedon.
Avengers did it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joss Whedon uses more vibrant colors than normally. You see it mostly in Age of Ultron, but it is there in Avengers.
And let's be clear, I still don't blame the Russos for this. This is a problem in MCU.
A systemic
the-
after a certain
MCU.
point
It is
that
the
are
MCU
not the
problem.
Guardians films.
Yes.
It is an MCU problem.
Yeah.
And you definitely see it looking back on Avengers, going back to that era.
Yeah. That stood out to me, and I was bummed.
If you guys are interested more on these ideas, check
Patrick
out
Willems.
Patrick Willems' videos on YouTube. They are very eye-opening.
Yeah.
And you can still really love these movies and not appreciate the way they look
Now,
sometimes.
Thor: The
Yeah.
Dark World. Thor: The Dark World has an opposite problem. I think they turned up the color in Thor: The Dark World for those sequences.
I think only in like certain shots, though.
Asgard looks more gold to me.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you on exterior shots, but some of the interior shots, it's the same.
I will say it was cool to see old-looking Asgard
It was.
as opposed to new Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, I like that old look.
There's Kenneth Branagh's Asgard.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
He doesn't get a cameo in this one. No vocal cameo, right?
I
Nothing.
don't believe so. No.
No.
All right. So we.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
So Morag, they call Peter Quill an idiot, and then
Thanos. Sorry. So we were on Thanos. Thanos knows that they're there. He wants to investigate by having Ebony Maw dig through Nebula's
wants to know who's doing
memories,
this.
and he finds the Avengers are doing it.
I love that he knows who they are.
Well, that makes sense because of the end of 2012. He even specifically uses the word unruly,
Yeah.
which is the word that he was given
Yeah.
about them. They are unruly or not made to be ruled.
Yeah.
So he uses that, and I appreciate that too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go into this very much. I will bring up that because it's a 2014 Thanos, I wish they had done a little more either through his own learning of the Avengers or through him having watched the video files from Nebula, him feeling more affronted with these Avengers when he faces them later.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lack of personal connection there. It diminishes his returns for me a little bit in this film. That's all I'm going to say on that.
I disagree.
I want to say, I agree, and I agree because when Thanos sees Tony, he knows who he is.
Sure.
I kind of would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that.
Right.
Like he knows who they are personally.
I told Ben in the car ride back here, I specifically wish that there had been another moment equal to the moment from Infinity War with this new 2014 Thanos when he says Stark and he's like, you know me? you're not the only one cursed with knowledge, because he is supposed to, in a way, be a dark parallel of Tony. I wish that had been a little more present from this 2014 Thanos. Just that, I wish was present in this movie. I think both for Tony's arc and for Thanos, it would have been nice.
I'll agree with that.
That's a problem I have with it being a 2014 Thanos. It's not enough to ruin the movie, but
You're
it
right.
is,
You're right,
it is
Sparks.
great.
You're right. The movie is ruined.
100%.
Pack it in, guys.
Garbage. $1 billion in a weekend out of that movie.
How did they do it? With one, anyway. All right, so let's talk about Vormir, or do we want to talk about something else before?
Now we could go to Morag. I just wanted to cover the Thanos
Okay, so
stuff. So Morag, they see Quill
They call him an idiot
because of the music.
Brody gives a good backhand, knocks him out.
Man, I just want to say real quick, Peter Quill was real sexy back in 2014.
Yeah.
Hard comedy cut of hearing the music and then seeing Quill.
Yeah.
Just
and only hearing
singing.
him sing, "Come and get your love."
Yeah.
So he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Also, I love when after they knock out Quill, they go to the Power Stone, and then Nebula's about to walk in, and Roy's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! This is where all the booby traps come out," because he's like trying to reference like Indiana Jones or something like
Yeah,
that.
you go into a place called Temple of the Power Stone.
Yeah, and Nebula's just not having it. Like
Uh-huh.
she grabs the orb with the Power Stone in it, and then she's like, "Yeah, I wasn't always like." He's like, "Hey, well,
Well,
not-
you got to mention the
neither
part
am
that
I."
her arm is like melting off.
Yeah, her
that's
arm,
pretty
yeah,
important.
You could
In
see her
in
arm
pieces,
melting
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. But she doesn't. She's just kind of blowing at it.
Yeah,
She
she's
doesn't
just
feel it.
she's just going.
Oh, you know what? I just realized who doesn't have good hair? Peter Quill. Peter Quill doesn't have good hair in either of these films. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think his hair is real flat and
All
dumb.
right. I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
He's the same hair
Um,
from 2014.
And the same hair from Infinity War.
I know. I don't like his hair in Infinity War.
Well, okay.
Oh, okay.
I've been saying how good women's hair is.
Anyway-
I'm gonna say how good a man's hair is.
Going back to
Uh,
Nebula and Rhodey.
What you were saying about that moment, I really like that too, where she says, "I wasn't always like this," and he's like, "Yeah, neither was I, but work with what we got."
yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Man, Karen Gillan is a standout in this movie.
she is.
And again, good for Don Cheadle. I'm
I've
glad
always-
that both of them got the play they deserved.
I've always
Yeah.
kind of liked Karen Gillan as Nebula, but I love her in this movie.
yeah,
I love her.
I've
in this
been
movie.
waiting for her to have this.
Yeah.
Just like Gamora, like I think she's like the best in Infinity War.
Also
like Nebula's the best in this one.
And to touch on her design, I'm glad that they added the orange to her.
Me too.
I
I
really
thought that
like
was gold.
It's like
Like-
an orangish gold.
Well, the new colors to her face, I like that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. That was
And
really
it
good.
makes her distinct.
And it's on her left arm as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes her distinct so
From the
then-
other Nebula. But I think that's a good addition. I
Yeah.
really like it.
Yeah, me too.
And then that eventually works against her though, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Silly
you
Avengers.
You will have. So they steal Nebula.
Yes, so they're about to go away and they sync up, but Rhodey disappears and she doesn't because she's all of a sudden feeling the effects of the other Nebula.
Yeah.
I think
being read
because
in her
Maw
memories.
finally finds her and hacks into her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah,
I mean
I'll
it's
buy
fine.
it.
I don't
buy
I
it.
don't gripe.
Because
I'm not griping about it.
right as Rhodey pushes the button, you can see Nebula's fingers on it, but doesn't fully press it, so she can't.
Yeah, she's something stalling her. She's
Yeah.
like a computer being stalled.
And that's why she like freaks out and runs to the pod and to try and radio Barton and Natasha saying,
Oh,
Thanos knows everything.
we got a good line from we forgot to mention Barton and Nat
Oh, yeah.
on their way to Vormir is like this. Clint's laughing.
This is a long way from Budapest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. Nice callback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh,
Uh,
that's so cute. Yeah.
Thanos is watching his murder.
Yeah,
"Oh, that's creepy."
it's rough.
And he's like, "This is destiny fulfilled."
This is
Uh-huh.
that
I am inevitable.
I love that scene.
he hears himself say, "I
Yeah.
am inevitable."
I don't have a problem. Like I know you have certain problems with 2014 Thanos, but like I personally seeing younger Thanos, for me this makes him a fully not that he wasn't fully fleshed out, but this fills in the pieces for me of where Thanos was and who he becomes, and he sees his bad future, and he's like, "Oh, so the thing that I'm going towards works, but it still fails. Well, I need to change my goals." So
I don't have a problem with that. I just wish that there was a more direct personal connection between a 2014 Thanos and a Tony, because we don't have that because this isn't the Thanos that fought in Infinity
No, I
War.
agree.
That was
Yeah.
my only point.
I'd like to.
I feel like the thing that happened in Infinity War was that moment. So a younger Thanos, it wouldn't make sense for him to also have do that same exchange with Tony. You know what I mean? Like this is a different person technically. You know what I mean?
Should still be a Thanos cursed with knowledge about the Avengers, especially
He is
since he
still.
watched video files.
He is still.
But that's what I mean is that I this is apples and oranges. But
Yeah.
that this Thanos, I wish that there was more of a direct personal problem between the Avengers and a dialogue moment between them, rather than if you isolate 2014 Thanos, I don't feel the weight of it is as good as it is in Infinity War. That's it.
Okay.
But I don't want to weigh on that
Yeah,
anymore.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I like how Gamora, upon realizing that Thanos completes his mission,
Does it.
Gamora bows to him.
Because we know that at this time, Gamora was already leaning to leave.
Yeah. I like that she's
And
like,
she realizes, oh no,
he
wins.
He wins.
We get a Ronan reference too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about Ronan.
And how he sucks.
His obsession is his downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He actually comes in and be like, yeah, Rodin's a shit character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta do it myself.
While he's wiping blood off of his sword.
Hell yeah.
I like a sword. It's a cool sword.
Man,
I like a sword too.
I'm glad we got another cool General Grievous thing.
It's a good weapon.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Vormir?
Yeah, let's get sad.
Boromir or Boromir?
Vormir.
Because Boromir, he's in a...
No, Vormir.
Okay.
One is not simply
All right, let's talk
walking
about
to
Vormir. I like how Natasha's like, I bet the raccoon didn't have to come up a mountain.
Yeah.
Technically, he's not a raccoon.
Also, I like how when Red Skull addresses someone, he addresses like
That's
he
the
go-
child
well,
of blank.
Yeah.
well, not only that, but he addresses as like, so it's where Natasha says daughter of Ivan, her father, but he goes to Clint and says daughter
Son of
or
Edith.
son of Edith, his
Yeah.
mom. I kind of like
No,
that.
daughter.
Yeah, you're right.
Son of Edith, like he just like, oh, you think I'm going to talk about your father? No, I'm going to talk about the other parent. So surprise. I know, I just like that.
I really like the line like, yeah, so he knows your dad's name. Like, what does it matter? I didn't know my dad's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Shit. That's really
some
messed up, man.
That's yeah.
So yeah, like,
Give me those little nuggets of
I
Black
knew-
Widow background. Nom, nom, nom,
Yeah,
nom. I
yeah.
can eat them up
I really
till I get a whole movie about it.
Yeah. Again, like, once I knew the time heist was happening, they're going to Vormir. Like, I'm glad it happened this way because, like, we got the awesome ending with Captain America and all that stuff. Like, we got a Soul Stone sacrifice, which I fully expected to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't who I thought, 100%.
You thought it was going to be Hawkeye?
I thought it was going to be Hawkeye.
So did I.
Because like
The movie is playing with it. The
100%.
movie is playing with who's it going to be. And to be fair,
As it rightly should.
Yeah.
they have been playing with Hawkeye's death since Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the MCU has actively been toying that,
Not only
dangling
that-
that in our faces.
Not only that, Hawkeye through the film presents a reasonable argument for why it should be him and not Black Widow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is what he became.
And what I appreciated watching Infinity War and Endgame again is he doesn't say the thing you love most, a thing you love.
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
what he says. You have to sacrifice a thing you love.
yes.
And
So Nebula and Rhodey couldn't have gotten this.
right.
Yeah.
So Nat and Barton, because I always, the first time I watched it, I always kind of wanted Barton to be like, well, I don't have anything else. The thing I love most is gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's a thing you love, and he loves Nat. He
Yeah.
loves Nat, and Nat loves Barton.
Good on these films, by the way. I was thinking about today for making a man and woman relationship where they very much
Are just
love
friends.
each other, but it's not a romantic love,
Same.
and they're
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
close to each other.
Good
that doesn't
on-
happen
Yeah, same with
a lot in
Good
with-
on them.
Cap and Nat. Like, they're both also good friends. Like, and I'm glad, like,
They
it doesn't-
are-
It doesn't
they-
have to be romance.
They are, but they really do a lot with Hawkeye and
No,
Nat.
I-
and
I just mean,
I
like,
think no, I
they
agree
didn't
with
force
you.
a romance with her except for Hulk, and it didn't work out. Thank God.
Sure,
But you still. What I also appreciate with the Hulk relationship in Infinity War and Endgame is you get Hulk clearly cares about Nat in a way that Tony doesn't, in
Yeah.
a way that Rhodey doesn't. Like it, there is something more for Hulk because he had flirted with that idea of something more, and we get things like that. It's not just it didn't work. Wash it away.
There was like even like the faintest of like mentions, like when they're in the diner, and she's like, "I remember a time when this wasn't even possible." Like, remember like how we almost could have been possible.
when she dies,
Yeah.
or when she dies, it lingers on him and then on Cap. Like it lingers on both of them.
Yeah.
Probably it wouldn't have been if they didn't have that
Well,
moment.
I want to talk about that when we get there.
Right.
But
So
that-
what I wanted to touch on in Vormir, I also like the smash cut of just Hawkeye like, hey, what's up?
yeah,
yeah,
just waving the
Red
Red
Skull
Skull.
just passive
and like
hanging out.
both these people being who they are, and like and they're like, well, you know, we're gonna have one of us has to make the choice, and like, yeah, I know.
I feel like we're talking about two different people.
and then Hawkeye's like, I think we're not talking about the same person, and I guess if I had one problem, I think like they don't need to fight as much, especially because like they fight and then Clint jumps off, and then they do the thing where like, oh, they're hanging. Like it feels a little long to me. A little long to me.
I will disagree.
That's
because
fine.
I think there's a lot of tension in that moment.
Yeah.
Because it's only 3 times they stop one or the other from
Yeah.
from stopping. You know, and the entire time the audience is kind of like, oh shit.
I felt like that, and then I was like, all right, this is the end. Oh no, we're here back again. Like for me, it was a little much.
Sure.
It was like the Hulk scene, but you know.
I like that.
I think it was important to the two characters that they do everything they can to one up each other.
Yeah.
And so the moment that Hawkeye goes off the cliff, because they were just going to keep doing that, Hawkeye goes off the cliff and then she grabs him and makes him be attached to the cliff. And it would bother me if it was a thing where she was holding on to him. She wasn't.
Yeah,
he grabbed her. Her hand is loose the whole time.
And she's saying, "Let me go."
Yeah.
The moment's
so
amazing.
so it doesn't bother me the length of how they go through that. I
kind
feel
of
like
their
it would
way-
have. I think it would have served both characters a disservice to have cut it any shorter.
It's kind of their way of having Clint say goodbye. Clint and Natasha say goodbye.
Yeah.
Is their way of doing that. They're saying goodbye to each other.
I was gonna say I actually really like that moment because you can see Clint's holding on to her for dear life because he's like, no, I'm the one who should be going because look at what I've done. Look what I did in Mexico. Look what I did in Japan. Like even going back to that scene where he's telling the Yakuza guy that you're done hurting people. He's like, oh, I'm hurting people? Look at all the bodies around me
Look at the
that you
massacre.
yourself murdered, you hypocrite piece of shit.
And Natasha says that everything I did for the past 5 years was to get here.
Yeah. And then just when she says, like, it's time to let go, it's okay. And just when he finally does, he is like, he is in pain. And then even when he gets the Soul Stone, he's not like Thanos where he's like, okay, cool, I got my objective. He's like, it should have been me.
Yeah.
Why was it not me?
I want to talk about, and I think this is a good place to talk about Black Widow's arc about the franchise.
Okay.
I think it's incredible that organically they got her to that place.
Yeah.
Like it never felt forced. It felt like each movie was the next step to get her there. I don't know if obviously that wasn't the plan to kill Natasha from the very beginning of Iron Man 2, but it's so cool to see this character, this spy, realistically go up against aliens and gods.
Yeah, and she's become more and more emotional, and she's the most emotional in this movie. She's basically crying in almost every scene she's in.
I listened to a podcasting with Scarlett Johansson about this movie, and she said that she never felt more in like tandem with the character than this film.
I really feel it, 100%.
Which makes me kind of bummed that this is it. But
yeah, we'll see.
Because assuming the Black Widow film is a prequel, she's still not going to be in the same place with the character as this. So this being it for it does bum me out a bit.
Yeah.
So they come back.
Yeah.
Something about, and I'll kind of get into a way I thought about what I wish they'd done with this later, but something about the way that for the rest of the film Black Widow's passing is handled doesn't have the weight I wish it did.
Interesting. I was going to say I really appreciate that they give
her the scene.
Mourning time.
This movie has way too much to do to especially because you have another death happening soon.
But I like.
So I think it's perfect.
I like I like their mourning period, and I like how Thor can't
I
process
agree.
it.
I agree with you. I like that scene too.
I like that they give it that moment. You know, Hawkeye's like, "You're right. This is above my pay grade, but he said it can't be undone. So what am I supposed to do? If you want to talk to him, you take your hammer and go."
I 100% agree.
I love that.
I've seen it 3 times, and I still the weight of it doesn't land the way I wish it did.
Right. Okay.
Did we talk about 1970 yet?
That's next.
That's next.
Okay.
I want to touch on that next.
Because they got most of them got to return except for them.
Yeah. So they go to the 1970s.
Well, because they screwed up, and Tony is confident about when they're both in a place,
Hank and
because it's right near his birthday.
Yeah. When Hank and the Tesseract will be at least he doesn't know if Howard's there. He just knows that the Tesseract is there.
The Tesseract must be there,
and Hank Pym
the
working.
particles must be there.
Yep.
So I was saying to Ryan on the car ride over, Hank Pym, Michael Douglas has been in 3 Marvel movies. All 3 of them, he's been de-aged.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think
Different
that's kinda
stages
cool.
of his life. We've seen Michael Douglas in every incarnation of his life now.
Yeah. And we get the original Ant-Man helmet,
Hell yeah,
Which
dude.
is
That was
cool.
awesome.
I thought that was cool. But we also get that scene with Howard and Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget Creepy Steve.
Creepy Steve. Although I cried. First time I saw it, I cried.
Before we got to all that, I thought the interchange between Scott, Steve, and Tony when they're deciding what's going to happen was really good. The way those 3 play off each other, those 3 play really well, because we haven't gotten a lot of just Scott, Steve, Tony interacting with each other. That worked really well.
Yeah.
And that was, to your point, Steve and Tony feeling like they are connected, that it was just, trust me. Let's do this.
And it's,
Do you
it's,
trust
it's
me?
Two
Yeah,
it's 2 close friends talking, and Scott's just like, "Hey, Steve, Captain Rogers, America, sir. Can you include me? What's going on here?"
I really like the moment where Tony's like, "Do you trust me?"
Yeah.
I do.
I do.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I agree.
And then they go to the 1970s. We get the final Stan Lee cameo.
Oh yeah.
Make
Oh.
peace, not war.
Make
They
love, not war.
they finally digitally de-aged Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's reaching a fist out that window.
Might-
May or may not be a middle finger at the end of it.
Yeah. What? So, just real quick, what do you think about Stan Lee's last cameo?
It's okay. It's good.
It's a quick cameo.
It's yeah.
Mind you, it was filmed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
so-
No, yeah. I mean, like,
I also love how the bumper sticker says "Nuff said."
Yeah.
Kind of little shot to him.
420 on the.
I like
On the
that.
license.
I like that in some ways because of they did de-age makeup for Stan Lee, which they've never done before.
Yeah.
And in some ways that returned him to probably his most iconic look before
like the
he started
70s
doing
look.
cameos.
Yeah, dude.
When the comics were at their height, this is the way that people saw Stan
Yeah.
Lee
yeah.
Yeah.
until the movies started.
When he became kind of Marvel's hype man.
Yeah.
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 And I think that in its own way is sweet.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So they're on the birthplace of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uh,
Which is
But that secret Hydra base.
yep, which we saw in Winter Soldier, which is cool to
Yeah.
go back there too.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
agree. Peggy, we see Peggy in the sequence.
Yep, that's the Creepy Steve moment.
Yep.
That was. But Creepy Steve, where did Peggy get that picture? That picture.
She's always had it.
No, that picture in First Avenger is this big.
It's pretty big. Hey, man,
Oh.
it's the future of 1970. Maybe the picture.
And
think
don't
they-
worry about it.
I think they could. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Better found that negative and blew it up.
Probably.
Listen, like I literally have no complaints about the movie, but just thinking about it, I guess that's like the one scene I didn't necessarily need.
It's just an extra
Yeah.
step in the pushing him towards
It's-
that ending.
Yeah,
And it doesn't feel like it serves much other
because
than
she
that.
doesn't see him, and like he has to like duck out of the way. It's just like,
And
but
there's
she's
that's
there.
another part of it, that there's no extra follow up on the fact that like they're catching on to them.
Yeah.
It was just there to push him into that room, and then that's it.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it's not a rush. Like, hey Tony, we got to get out. Nothing.
I
Nothing.
also think it serves a purpose of misleading the audience. Like, oh, here's your Peggy Carter cameo.
yeah.
Like, I do think there's a bit of that.
I don't know that I didn't personally find it misleading. I just personally found it as a guarantee of where the film was going.
In terms of like, this is just me. Like, if I had to cut any single thing out of this movie, like to shorten out a little bit, that's the one thing where I look at them like that probably can go, and the movie would be exactly the same.
Although I really like the music played for it.
yeah, no, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
still like I like the scene. I'm just like I'm trying to.
Good music in the movie.
Oh yeah.
It would have even been better if there had been even a hint that Peggy might accidentally see him and what
Yeah.
he would do, but there wasn't even that.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about real quickly. The music in the movie is real good. It's got a lot of cool callbacks.
Yes.
Obviously, it's Alan Silvestri, so
All
he's
the
calling back
scores,
to a lot
baby.
of his stuff,
Yeah.
Yep.
and a couple of the others.
Captain America theme song plays a lot. I appreciate that.
Ant-Man when Scott
Yeah,
pops
man.
out of the van.
Yeah.
A really slow version. It's
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, I like that too. Good stuff.
I really
And kind of a like weird 70s jazzy version of Ant-Man
Yeah.
when he's coming up on Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
We don't get it until much like we get some of it in Infinity War, but I really like Thanos' score, like the really
Oh, yeah.
over impending like the bomb, like the horns.
Bum,
Uh-huh.
bum,
Like we
bum.
definitely hear it later on when he comes to Earth, but
we
man, like
hear it when Thor kills him too.
okay, yeah, man, that's real good. All the music's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
All right. So
a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he uses a little bit of Captain Marvel-ish music too.
He does. He does
For-
use the
for
Captain
her,
Marvel
yeah,
theme.
yeah.
I would,
But like
I don't
repurpose-
remember. But
he
yeah.
like repurposes it in his own way when she destroys the ship later. I
Yeah.
think.
I have only seen her movie once, so I don't remember her music. Very
Yeah,
well.
I was like, well, it's just so clearly a theme, and I'm like, I don't think it's a different theme.
yeah.
So I felt like
you
he
can only
repurposed
assume,
it.
right?
I think he repurposed it
I
in a
think so,
way,
too.
so it doesn't sound exactly the same. But I was like, this is clearly a theme.
Yeah.
and I don't think he invented it.
I really like Tony and Howard's. scene.
Yeah, man, it's
we
real,
were all
it's
pretty
super
sure
sad.
That
John
was great.
Slattery was in this.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great. The whole when Tony gets the Tesseract and they're walking out and he's trying to get out.
He's
he
bumbling
hears,
like a fool, man, in front of his dad.
and he
Yeah.
hears his dad and he sees his dad and he's like
Looking for Arnim Zola.
yeah, of all people. That's
I am Swiss.
that was
First
great.
collection. I am Swiss.
There you
That
go.
was really great.
It's the only line I can do.
But yeah, that whole interaction between them because it's right when because it's right. He's like because Howard's like yeah, my wife's about to have a kid and
I like how he's just
their
like
whole exchange is just great.
I thought he was a bad dad, but there were some gems.
It's
He did his best.
He did his best, which is the same thing he said in Civil War when he was fictionally talking to him.
This
Yeah.
scene was really powerful for me. Just look at a little personal, my dad died. So having a last chance to talk to your dad, something really powerful. And I totally saw in Robert Downey Jr. Like he just wants to tell his dad everything. He's like, I have a daughter. he didn't need to say that to this random stranger.
Yeah.
He wanted to let his dad know that he has a daughter.
Right.
And like that exchange was so good.
Right.
So good. And like Howard's like, do I recognize that person? I'm like, it's so time travel cheesy goodness. Like,
Yeah, it's like
so good.
I recognize you, but I don't know why. I never. Seen
and again,
you
that's where
before.
you get Jarvis, and again, like maybe the most surprising cameo.
When I saw him the first time, I saw a blurry figure at the like. No.
Yeah, same.
There's no way.
Same.
And then he was there. I was like, okay.
I for real, I thought I was like, man, they got a really similar looking British guy
Yeah.
to play Jarvis, and I'm like, oh shit, no, they just got him.
You could get anybody.
Yeah.
You can get anybody. But
Yeah.
because it was Marcus and McFeely, they were like, it's got to be Jarvis.
It's
Gotta be Jarvis.
it's real good.
That is good.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate the way that Steve Rogers does the call to get Hank Pym out of that room.
Oh,
Yeah.
Captain Stevens.
Yeah, this is Captain Stevens. We got a thing in shipping. It's
glowing.
It's a glowing box. They opened it. Some of the guys aren't feeling so good.
And it's like, well, isn't that your job? It's like, yeah, it's glowing, and then if he freaks out and runs to the thing.
Also, this could have been a opportunity to have like a really silly chase sequence trying to chase Steve and Tony, and they just nixed that, and I'm glad because we didn't need a silly shield chase sequence.
No.
Yeah.
And they get the Pym particle, and they get
Yep.
the Tesseract, and they bounce up to the future
Yeah.
where Nat's dead.
Yeah, everyone gets back, and then Hawkeye
Did we do it?
Thus
we did
begins part 3 of the movie.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh boy.
there's so much to this movie. It's insane.
And at this point, we know 2014 Nebula has come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
In place
Yeah,
of
'cause
our
they
Nebula because they kidnapped her
And they replaced
and
the gold
replaced
part.
the gold pieces on her and grabbed the Pym particles.
Man.
Yeah.
So she's working for Thanos to prove herself to him.
Nebula
She's not a
comes back,
traitor.
and she just like looks around like, nope, no one knows what's going on. Cool, baby.
So they have all the stones. Hulk's celebrating. We did it. We did it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and everyone's really happy.
Hawkeye
until
drops to the floor.
Realize Nat's dead.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about Nat's funeral, and Nat's kind of like mourning sequence.
Yeah.
I think pretty well.
Uh-huh.
So let's go to when they're putting the.
Well, we did. Well, yeah.
Do you
So-
want to say something more about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm glad that they show the emotion of all the original Avengers involved in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
do.
even Thor saying like, "Hey, we have space magic. We
I
could
think
probably bring it back." And
the,
then
the most important exchange being Tony asking, "Did she have family?" Cap says, "Yeah, us."
Us.
Yeah.
It's a good line.
And he's crying.
Yeah.
Thor's
shot
just
from
like,
the trailer.
why are you? She's not dead. It's fine. We have the
Space magic.
stones. Yeah.
Yeah, Thor is very much kind of like not okay.
Because he just lost another close person in his life. Like, how
Yeah.
many more people can this guy lose?
Yeah.
I think that's Jeremy Renner's best acting moment.
Yeah, me too. I
You
think
go
so,
grab
too.
your hammer. You go talk to him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
I also like that they don't know who the Red Skull is. Because, like, why would they?
some red floaty dude.
Yeah, like, they're like, wait a minute, is that you, Johann Schmidt from 1942?
Well, I mean, I feel like they'd be they could be vaguely aware. He's part of the history books, I'm
yeah,
sure.
but the fact that they call him the Red Floating Guy means, like, I don't think he knows who he is.
I think they just didn't want to say Red Skull because if they did, Cap would have to be like, "What?"
yeah,
And so why deal with that?
Again,
Now
that's
we
a whole other situation.
now we
where he has
talk
to
about-
exactly.
turn
But
the
I'm
soul
like,
stone.
that's why bring up that line?
Now
Yeah.
we talk about I talked about how I think this film has every scene it needed. As a Marvel Cinematic Universe fanboy, I would have really liked to have seen a moment between Steve and the Red Skull.
Sure.
No place for it. Don't need it.
Yeah,
yeah.
We need to move on.
it would be cool, but, yeah, like, that just adds a longer movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would be
like I
cool.
said, there's no place for a scene
Yeah.
like that in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get that really nice scene by the lake of that, like Bruce. He takes that bench and just tosses it, and I want to say the most hulked out he's ever been the whole movie. Besides him fighting in the
Oh, can I finally mark my Hulk returns?
You know what we
No.
didn't. Sorry, you know what we didn't talk about way long ago because we jumped fast to Asgard and everything. Hulk got the time stone from the Ancient One because she found out that Doctor Strange had
That's
given
right.
up the time
Yeah.
stone to Thanos willingly,
And
That's
he's
right.
supposed to be the
and
best
that
of us.
clued her in that there must be a reason, which terrifies her. But
Yeah.
there must be a reason, and
Yeah.
Banner says we will get the stones back to the point we took them.
Yes.
That becomes his prerogative
That's
for
right.
the stones once they have them.
Yeah.
Just wanted to touch on that because it's going to come up again. So
It does come
we
up
didn't
again.
we didn't talk about that, but that happened.
Yes, that's true.
So they've decided to put the stones on an Iron Man gauntlet, on an Iron Man glove.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like how they're just kind of, okay, let's do
They're
this.
very careful,
Very
and
carefully.
Rocket scares
Just
the poop out of him.
Rocket is pleased. It's like, yeah.
All
I
right,
just
who's
thought-
going to wear the gauntlet? Thor. I'll do it.
Yeah, like,
I'm the strongest
Thor's
Avenger.
his Jack Sparrow thing. I'll
Yeah.
do it.
He's very
Well, I like
out of
that.
it.
I like that because Thor is he is broken after Infinity War.
Yes.
He really wants to redeem himself because even when in the beginning of the movie when Tony comes back and he sees Thor just sulking in the corner, he's like, "What's wrong with him?" It's like he feels like he failed, which a lot that's going on.
He has the
around
great
everywhere.
line. It's like, I just want to do something good for once.
Right,
Yeah.
and in some ways you can even look at it as like this plan was working, he got to see his mom and everything, but they come back, Natasha's gone, and he doesn't even want to accept that because no further loss is acceptable.
Yeah.
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 So he's just like, let me do this.
I think it's a combination of both, that he wants to do the right thing and do something that helps them, and it's also an idea of, I can't lose another Avenger.
Yeah.
So, but Hulk decides
Yeah.
Because of the gamma
he
radiation.
calls back to
Avengers.
It's gamma. It's mostly gamma anyway.
Yeah.
It's like I was made for this.
Yeah. As he puts it on, he's struggling with it. It's too powerful.
You
for
could
him.
see the power of the stones just like coursing. It's kind of like a
It's
Technicolor
singeing his
it's a Technicolor
his
wave
shirt.
of death, essentially.
Technicolor wave of death. That's nice.
It's
Yeah.
singeing his outfit, and he's
it's burning his arm, burning the side of his neck, and then he can
he
barely.
struggles to lift it up to just
They're asking
snap
like,
his fingers.
Bruce,
While
okay?
this is happening, Nebula has brought Thanos back from 2014.
in a really, really cool sequence. I loved watching the Sanctuary 2 fly through the quantum realm
Yeah, man. What a
and the
burst through the ceiling.
And then we get that bright flash. The Hulk throws the gauntlet off. He's just lying there. Tony like heals him, and then what really cued me in of how it worked is that we don't see a lot of wildlife like birds.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie.
That's what I was saying. I
So-
like how desolate the film
which is why
looks.
Scott
So when
reacts the way
Scott
he
walks
does.
outside and he sees like a bunch of birds flying around in trees, he's like, "Guys, I think it worked." And obviously we know it worked because Laurel calls Hawkeye or Clint.
Laura.
Thank you. Laura calls Clint, and he couldn't believe it.
Right.
And then of course Hulk is just like breathing. He looks up.
Slow down, Ben. Slow down, because you're getting ahead of a point I want to talk about.
All right, point.
I don't we don't need to spend a bunch of time on it, but I realized something that I think, for me at least, would have helped the Natasha thing have more weight, is that I feel like when Bruce did the snap, same as Thanos saw Child Gamora, Bruce could have seen Natasha.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Which I think would have been a better capper on the kind of existent story that they had between the two of them, and would have given Natasha the proper closure as a character I think she deserved in the film, rather than her last bit being laying at the bottom of the floor. And that is something that, if I could change one thing about the movie, I would put that in. I would have had Bruce and Natasha have a moment in the Soul Stone.
Was that the point you were trying to talk about before?
That was a thing I was waiting for, yeah.
Okay. I agree. I didn't think I wanted that until you just said it, and that would have been really nice.
I think both for Bruce and Natasha as characters, given that they had that romance, and we've done a lot of things to make previous not so great films, Thor: The Dark World, be better in retrospect in this film, they could have made me feel a little better about having even hinted at the Bruce Natasha romance if Bruce had that moment with her in the Soul Stone, especially with Hawkeye's line later where he says that, "I wish there was a way she could have known." That would have given a little bit more of a peace of mind that she could have known.
Doesn't Bruce even say, "I tried"?
Yeah.
I tried.
Yes, and so if he'd seen the Soul, like been in the Soul Stone and seen Natasha, that I think that would have been a very touching moment. And I think it would have made her loss land a little better with me, that the weight of it would have felt like a fully closed story to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would have been nice. Also, I do feel like there should have been a parallel between Scott and Tony. Here's Tony, who has gained a lot in this loss. He's gained a lot. He's gained a family,
Right.
and here's Scott, who's lost a lot. He's lost
That's-
5 years with his daughter.
Right,
He's
that's
lost
the
his
other
whole-
point. Mhm.
I would have liked to have seen some pushback from Scott, where Tony says, "Let's bring everyone here." I would have liked to see Scott being like, "No, let's go back 5 years."
It does bother me a little bit that no Avengers even put up an argument of, why don't we just change back this 5 years of everything that everyone's had to live with? Because in that time, yes, people have grown, but there's certainly people who have died.
Yeah.
There are certainly people who have committed suicide
Yeah.
because the people they love died from Thanos, and all of those people aren't coming back.
Plane crashes.
Yes.
Helicopter crash. We see it at the end of the
The devastation and rot that could have happened across the entire universe, not just on Earth, but everywhere, that the Avengers had the opportunity to undo, but we didn't, because Tony needed his daughter.
Yeah.
Yes, I also wish there had been a little bit more of a pushback argument on that.
Especially, I think the person to push is Scott.
Yes.
Because he's like, I lost
Scott
5 years
or
with my
even,
daughter.
even Steve to an extent.
Yeah. Scott's whole thing is like he's happy at the end of the film that he's got his daughter, that his daughter is alive anyway. But like the whole thing is like, I would have liked to have seen my daughter grow. It's kind of my issue with Bendis on Superman. He's aged Jonathan Kent up 7 to 17, so Superman has lost 7 years with his son.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I would like more of an explanation, more of a kind of pushback. Like I want that time back.
Even an arguable compromise that would have come to of like, okay, bring back everyone that was dusted and all beings that have died in the past 5 years,
Yeah.
so that all people who were dusted still have all their loved ones that were alive the moment they were dusted.
Yeah.
Even an argument of that case, it would have made me feel a little better.
But then, yeah, I mean,
I get why it isn't there.
yeah, it opens up a whole thing. Like, do we bring back Loki and
For me,
Heimdall or-
for me, once you open the box of besides literally anyone that wasn't snapped, it's opening Pandora's box of all these little caveats for 1,000 different things.
Now, I'm not saying it should have. I'm not saying they should have brought it back 5 years. I'm saying I wish there was a pushback of it.
I will agree to an extent that there should have been a little more pushback, but like none of this bothered me.
That like not in the sense of the film, but just knowing the Avengers, the characters, what it's supposed to be, and everything, how they're supposed to. Because this movie, at this point in the film, the movie starts to feel to me that it's more about, who of our primary characters do we save, not necessarily who of the universe do we save. That's kind of tertiary. I do wish that there was some kind of, just because of who these characters are supposed to be, some kind of debate about what is the right way to do this. Think of all the people who have already passed, not because of Thanos in the 5 years, or all the devastation that's come from that, the consequences of that they could and did have the power to undo.
Isn't that like the natural order of things, though? And you'd be messing with the natural order of just regular people dying regularly?
Is the natural order of things... I mean, like, I understand why the movie doesn't do it, because it is a complicated thing that you then uncover, but I would say, like, I think that pointedly Captain America doing the support group definitely, like, should tell you there's 100% people that killed themselves because they lost their family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those people are gone, and now the dusted return, but they're still gone because they lost those people. Having the power to undo that and not undoing that is a little questionable.
That for me makes it more like real life stuff than comic book movie in a way. You know what I mean? Like, and I fully understand what you guys are saying, but like, I think once you take the focus off of just the snap, it just becomes so much bigger.
And did they need to talk about it the way we're talking about it? No, not as in depth. But the fact that there isn't even a debate about what's the right course of action, just don't change anything in the past 5 years, that feels a little un-Avengers-y. What's the best way to go about this?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, that's again, it doesn't hurt.
For sure.
It doesn't hurt my enjoyment of the film.
Right.
It's just something I would have liked to have seen.
Yeah.
Movie, you're already at 3 hours. Let's go a little bit longer.
Uh-huh.
Hey, the second highest grossing film of all time is 14 minutes more than this film.
Uh-huh.
Based on a true story.
So, as Ben was about to...
Second highest grossing for now.
Yeah. As Ben was about to bulldoze through, Thanos attacks the Avengers compound.
Yeah, Hulk looks up all happy, and then it's like, oh shit.
I thought for sure Scott was destroyed.
Yeah, I thought Scott was dead.
No,
I
he
thought
like
Scott
if you
was
see he
his
shrinks
helmet.
back.
I saw it the second time I
Uh-huh.
saw him shrinking.
I believe it, and obviously I believe it because when I first saw the movie and we saw Scott like push himself out of the rubble, and when he smiled, I'm like, oh yeah, I would have done the same thing.
I thought
but
for sure the first time I saw it, I was like, Scott just died.
When I first saw that first explosion, when that first rocket hit, I'm like, oh, he dead.
Yeah, it's
Rocket didn't
so
have anything.
so.
The rock.
I'm kidding.
Shut up.
I'm
So
kidding.
as like I said earlier, like this movie is like for me was predictably unpredictable, and up until this point, I had the movie like I kind of had understanding. Once Thanos' ship came from 2014 and destroyed the compound, I'm like, now I have no idea what's going on. I literally can't. This is it. Now we're in the end game.
We've separated the Avengers. We have Clint with the Infinity Gauntlet. We have
They're playing hot potato with the
Rhodey had to get out of his suit, and Rocket was crushed, and
yeah.
Hulk
Hulk-
is trying to hold them up with only one arm.
very, very Secret Wars.
It's 100%.
Oh, yeah.
very Secret Wars.
Oh yeah.
And Steve, Cap. No, sorry, it's the same person. Steve, Tony, and Thor are
Yeah,
together.
Tony gets Steve back up.
They all get out of the rubble.
You lose this again. He gets pushed with the suit. You lose this
I'm
again. I'm
keeping
keeping it.
Uh-huh.
Thanos is just on the battlefield, and he's just like,
When
I'm
you
just
mess
gonna
with
wait.
time messes back. You'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah, Thanos sends Nebula to go get the stones. He's like, I'm going to wait here.
I'm just gonna wait here. Wait for you to do it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's how that's going on. And Ant-Man goes to try to save Hulk and Rhodey and Rocket.
Good moment of Thor and Steve and Tony standing there.
Yeah.
Yes.
The three Avengers and saying, it's a trap. I don't much care. as long as we're on the same page.
And he,
Yep.
he
Kill him
summons,
properly.
and he
summons both Mjolnir.
both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker.
and
Gets
turns
big fat armor.
And his
and his beard gets
He
braided.
has magic hair braiding powers.
I don't
just-
care. He looked great.
No, it's just like, wow, yeah.
I just love how his eyes glow blue. He gets some thunder in the sky. He gets some clouds churning, and he gets both the weapons. And it's like, I'm here to kick your
and
ass.
big chunky Thor is definitely an arc in the comics. So like this is all real stuff.
You know what? Especially after watching this, after watching Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame, give me 15 more Thor movies, please.
He ain't dead.
Yeah, and
He ain't-
specifically like I know we have all like saw the thing like he said like Ragnarok reinvigorated my love. So
Yeah.
like we know
He's happy to keep playing Thor right now.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
said that
He
he wants to
wasn't-
keep playing Thor.
He wasn't, but he is now.
Yeah.
Well, he almost retired from film, period.
Yeah.
For a while there.
glad
And
he
now
didn't.
he's like,
And now he's in
oh,
Men in
no,
Black.
I'll be Thor for a while.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So yeah, they go to fight Thanos.
Nebula from our actual main timeline, she's visited by 2014 Gamora,
Yeah.
who
she
sees
asks-
what he's done to the Avengers compound, and she asks what happens to them.
This is so good. This stuff
She
is so
explains
good.
that they
yeah.
become close.
It's
friends and sisters.
They've swapped where they were in Guardians.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Gamora, like on her way to becoming a good person, like it just happens early for her, and I'm like, this shit is so
well,
good.
she was almost, because we know that Quill was about to get the Power Stone, she
Yeah.
was pretty much right at that point. She was
Yeah,
about
it
to
is-
betray
it is-
Thanos.
yeah.
And she's like, okay, I'm in. I'm in with you, Nebula.
Yeah.
I just also love when Gamora's talking to Nebula. She's like, "So what happens between you and I?" She's like, "Well, I tried to kill you several times," and she's like, "But then
Yeah.
she's like, but then we become friends and eventually sisters." Like the second she says we become real sisters, like that's gonna get
Gamora's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
that's
finally.
gonna that's gonna get
And
Neb-
you know what?
that's gonna get her.
You see it earlier when Ebony Maw is strangling her. You see Gamora reach for her swords.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And on the back, and I was like, oh, that's a nice little character touch, because Gamora still is protective of Nebula.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so they're ready to go down to the field, and
Hawkeye is fighting Outriders.
Hawkeye is, which you called from the trailer.
Mhm.
And he's running away with the gauntlet.
Man, this whole scene of just playing hot potato is so good.
Meanwhile, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man go down to face Thanos.
Sick
Yeah.
ass. sick ass fight.
Who has Thanos' best moment in this movie is this moment,
Yeah.
where he's explaining to them that now
Now it's
he,
personal?
Now he knows. No, well, no,
Oh,
not yet.
not
He
yet.
says
Early.
he says that now he knows
later.
that he needs to remake the universe by the atom and make it with life that has no idea and no memory of what it was before.
Yeah.
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 Because he sees
finally a grateful universe.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
sees like the thing he's been working towards his whole life. Like it does work, but it ultimately fails. So he's like, well, shit. I guess I got to just start from the beginning.
Because people are going
couldn't
to fight.
accept your own failure.
People
Yeah.
are going to fight to try and get it back.
And let me tell you, man, like just listening to Josh Brolin as Thanos, like that's like ASMR for me. Just like, where does it bring you? Back to me. And I'm just like, he's just like so nonchalant. Like,
What's
I'm just-
ASMR?
It's
Oh boy, let's
Oh.
not
don't
get
have-
there. We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
a sexual thing.
We do not have time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
it involves
I-
voices, though.
But I do agree with you, Ryan. Josh Brolin as Thanos is just great, both in
Yeah.
Infinity War and in this movie. I want to say 2014 Thanos in this
They're
movie
very-
is just
They're both.
Awesome.
They're two coins of the same character, and it's just so interesting to me. Like the fact that it's like time travel, but it's like it's a younger version becoming further than the version who's died because he knows that he dies.
Yeah.
I love it so much, guys.
Oh, that's what that is.
You just looked it
For
up,
those
didn't you?
listening to the podcast, Brandon just looked up ASMR on the computer while we were talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So Iron Man has Thor charge him up.
Hell
yeah.
Hell yeah. baby.
Great callback to the first Avengers.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't even talk about how Thor re-energizes his heart in the
Oh, yeah.
in
Oh
2012.
yeah, I had no idea if that would work.
He
Oh,
said
tap.
okay.
I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going Oh my god.
That was so crazy. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So this is where Iron Man and Thor and Cap are putting up a pretty good fight, but Thor knocks
Thor
the
gets-
Mjolnir at Thanos, and he holds up Iron Man. Iron Man gets knocked the f out.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
Then-
what's so cool is like he throws Mjolnir up and whacks it with
Yeah, yeah,
Stormbreaker.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
A lot of
That
cool
doesn't-
combo. A lot
that
of cool
does
weapon
oh,
combo.
yeah.
a lot of good weapon combos, and this is where Thanos is pummeling Thor, and he
Takes Stormbreaker.
snags Stormbreaker as
Almost
Thor's
gets-
calling it to him, and he's pushing it towards his chest.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah, just like what
It breaks
Thor
the
did to-
armor. I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. it just like when Thanos first, or when Thor first hit Thanos back in Infinity War, he got him in the same spot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of poetic how Thor's like trying to hold it back, and then we see the hammer lift.
Yeah, we see that. We see the hammer lift, and it shoots, and it comes back to Captain America. And probably one of the most bitchin' moves in the whole movie.
The cheers I have heard the first time we saw this on Thursday night. The cheers in that movie theater were very reminiscent.
Oh, the
to,
moment it showed the shot of Mjolnir being picked up,
yeah,
losing our minds.
People were losing their minds.
We were losing our minds.
And the second the hammer goes straight to Cap, I was cheering like the Dodgers hit a home run or
This is
something.
I want a good segue. Real quickly, we want to talk about our reactions to the film, not necessarily the film itself. I found it was incredible.
Reactions to the film, but not the film itself.
No, I felt sitting in that audience with fans. I was cheering. I was crying. I think this film is incredible. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, of shared media experiences ever since I moved, and I listened to everyone and their mother watching Game of Thrones, and I thought that was incredible. The fact that everybody's sitting down to watch this television show week after week after week. And
check out our YouTube channel for our FMP watch Game of Thrones reviews.
Yeah.
So now watching Endgame, you know, I was remembering what it was like watching Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Like these
Big tentpoles.
shared experiences that we just sit in a theater together, knowing nobody here, but we're just experiencing the story that we've invested so much time in, cheering for these characters that we care more about than even the action sequences. We all watched the Patrick Willems video. He mentions this reviewer who talks about how Marvel has switched the mold. In the old days, when you watch an action film, you go for the action, not the characters. Marvel makes it so that you care more about the characters than you do the action sequences. The action sequences are the icing on the cake. You care more about these characters. These characters have become our family in a sense. We are invested in their journeys, and we like watching them. And watching this with an audience is unlike any experience I think I will ever have.
It is the most expensive television show ever made.
Yeah,
really, and like in that is. Like, hyperbole has been, like, since the MCU, like, it's often brought up, like, this is one of the greatest achievements in cinematic history. It is. This movie, like, obviously we're nerds, but regular people have also watched all of these movies.
You do not make $1.2 billion opening weekend.
Exactly. With just nerds. Regular people.
You don't.
Yeah, like, they made all these characters so personal. And they believed in the audience and say, if you go with this on this journey, we'll make it worth it. And we'll return with money. We'll give you all the money, Disney, and we are. And when you get things like Endgame, it's like, I don't know how you do this ever again. I don't think you can.
I don't think so either.
Just the cheers when Captain America got Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And it was that full shot of him holding Mjolnir with his shield. Everyone was cheering. Everyone was clapping. I leaned over to my girlfriend and I whispered, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just because seeing that 11 years boiling up to this moment and seeing something that we have seen in the comics before. When we saw Cap lift up Mjolnir, well, I mean, Ryan, you've said he's lifted up Mjolnir a bunch of times in the books.
Superman has lifted Mjolnir.
Superman's lifted up Mjolnir. But the only time I remember seeing Cap lifting up Mjolnir was, sadly, when he was Hydra.
Yeah.
But I know what happens, and I was waiting for it to happen. We got a little tease of it in Ultron, and here it is, full on. And even Thor says, I knew it.
Yeah.
Because he knew that Steve was worthy
build
the whole time. And it was just...
Yeah.
Great.
And like we saw it Thursday night, and that was a crowded theater, and of course, everyone cheered. We saw it again, and
today.
Our audience was rather tame, but the collective excitement kept growing. And by the end of that movie, everyone was cheering.
A bunch of people were cheering.
I saw this film yesterday with my mother, and we went to a mostly casual moviegoer audience, like a lot of Casey casual, not a lot of people super invested.
Yeah,
and you could kind of feel the different energy between Thursday and that.
Yeah.
They did not get like audibly. Nobody got audibly anything outside the laughter from good jokes and everything. Nobody got audibly anything till the moment Cap caught Mjolnir.
Yeah,
everyone loves Cap.
Then
dude.
Pockets of the audience started to get into it.
It's like it's just too cool not to contain. You can't contain how cool it is.
I remember
Like,
watching
it's something you'd never thought you'd see.
Right. I remember watching Real Steel. This is going to be a really weird poll.
Real Steel's awesome. Go watch Real Steel.
Thank you. Real Steel is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great movie.
It
You
is.
mean Rock'em Sock'em Robots the movie?
Yeah,
It's
I know.
better than that.
it is good.
No, it's better. No, I'm kidding.
There is no Rock'em Sock'em Robots the movie. It's called Real Steel.
So Real Steel is a great is a really great movie. Didn't do well, so arguably if you're watching this, you've not seen it. So see it.
It's got Hugh Jackman. See it.
At the end of that fight, the audience I was in anyway. At the end of that, we're watching the robot fight, and it's Rocky with robots.
Yeah.
You're cheering. You're cheering. You're cheering at the end of Creed. You're cheering at the end of Creed 2. When you're invested in these characters, you're cheering like you're watching it live.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. That after 11 years, we still get that excited.
And here's I love the small character moments as much as the big spectacle stuff,
Yes.
right? But this movie delivers on scale that other movies have also done. You got your Lord of the Rings, you got whatever other big battle movies, but no other movie has 50 characters that I care about every single one of them.
Sure.
I care about the random Asgardians, I care about the random Ravagers, I care about all these people because I've literally spent most of my life watching them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's for me, growing up a Marvel guy, like loving the movies and the comics, like this is like top tier. How do they do this again? Because man, when Captain America is staring down the thousands of Thanos' army and it's like a splash page, that's straight from Infinity Gauntlet where he's walking right towards Thanos, and I'm like, this is it.
I would have liked
This
that
is so
speech.
good.
I would have liked a bit of that speech
Yeah.
from Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. But man, yeah, like this last action scene is like it's insane.
So yeah.
It's insane.
So thank you for indulging me in that.
Yes.
Let's go talk about the last action
It's
sequence.
insane.
We're done.
It's nuts. I still can't believe it.
So Cap's fighting. Cap's doing some real cool combos with the shield and the hammer.
Really great
Yeah,
combos.
Real
great
cool.
combos.
Really cool. And Thanos slices the shield
Uh-huh.
like it is in Age of Ultron.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm buttering, apparently.
Is it? Is it like? Do you assume that's vibranium? That Thanos uses vibranium?
I think
it's
he's just stronger.
It's just a space shield.
No, I mean
or-
the weapon has to be stronger than vibranium.
No,
then.
I think
It's space metal.
I think Thanos is stronger than vibranium.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay,
He does pinch Vision's head
Yeah.
to pull out
that's
the
true.
stone.
No, you're right.
so-
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
And
for
and
for
Vision
Thanos
is
with
the
his sword,
vibranium.
he's strong enough, and his sword has to be strong enough for him to cut through vibranium.
Yeah.
Not as easily.
Even if the
But-
sword was just vibranium on vibranium, it's a sharpened vibranium. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sharpened stuff's got to cut
Yeah.
through stuff.
At any rate, I think Thanos is stronger than vibranium.
Yeah.
But either way, we get that scene of a broken shield, which I never thought I was going to see, except in Age of Ultron, we got that that tease in
Yeah,
the
it's
marketing.
It's cut the exact same way. It's real cool.
It's like, hey,
Even Tony mentions it
it's
earlier
like,
in the movie.
hey, the shield gets broken somehow, but it wasn't by Ultron; it was by Thanos.
and then just the strapping in.
Yeah.
And he's going to
where
walk over.
he's already cut. You see a gaping wound
yeah,
in
he
his
has
arm.
a gaping wound
Yeah.
on his arm.
He
so
just closes in. He's like, you could see that he's just laying down. He's like, ow, and he gets up again. Like
And
with
he can do
him
this all
getting
day.
up, with him getting up and just
And this
clenching his teeth, getting ready to fight him again. I'm like, this is the Cap I've known for 11 years.
And this is where Thanos says that all his years of conquest has never been personal.
Yeah.
All that violence, which I don't always believe. But all this years, it's never been personal. But he's going to enjoy this
Uh-huh.
a lot.
Black
Yeah.
Order comes back for you, Ryan.
Yay!
Yeah, I like seeing.
They didn't really do much though.
No, but they come back.
I got
They
that
did.
box on bingo, baby.
Same.
I did like seeing the Black Order again.
Proxima Midnight got like no play.
No.
Corvus
And-
Glaive got a little.
Corvus Glaive got killed by Okoye instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Which I'm okay with.
No, Corvus
No.
Glaive is seen after that. Is seen after he gets stabbed.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He gets stabbed by her, but he also has his moment where he's like, rain fire, but our troops, sir.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
There's
You're right.
also no. That could be strange editing because, as I told you, after Ant-Man and the Wasp are in the van, there was a scene of Giant Man shoving a Leviathan into Strange's portal.
Yeah.
So that's a little weird.
Okay.
That'd be
It's
messed
not,
up.
But
Oh my god, that'd be so.
I wish it was.
The helmet comes off. Hey, it's me, guys.
It's just big Michael Douglas. He pops the helmet off.
Ah, God, this is crazy.
Ants.
God, dude.
Ant-Man.
Imagine he's the Gandalf and like he comes with like an ant army.
Oh Lord.
Actually, there's things I did want in this movie. No, okay.
Actually, an ant army sounds rather
That's
rad.
pretty cool.
Well, we get a wizard.
Hank Pym suiting up was something I wanted in this that I didn't get.
So yeah, we see. So we get Cap. Can you read me, Sam?
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing. So here's something that I forgot to mention when Ben was talking about when the ship explodes the compound. Because you're focusing on that action sequence, it's like a magician's trick. Like, hey, focus on this. Forget about this.
Yeah, forget that everyone just got brought back to life.
Like, we're focusing on this. We're focusing on this.
Yeah.
Oh, remember this?
Uh-huh.
Smart.
And
The second
it's
we
like,
hear-
it's like they just threw a quarter out from behind my ear. And then on your left. On your left.
I
Scott
love
Lang
that.
taught them some magic in his off time.
I freaking love that Sam Wilson finally, once again, he gets back Captain America with "On Your Left," and then out comes Chadwick Boseman with Okoye
Here come the
and
waterworks,
Shuri.
man. Here come the waterworks. When I first saw this,
So no, the first time I saw this, I was just watching it and just kind of taking everything in. It was the second time I
Same.
watched it that I cried.
I cried twice as much during the second time.
I didn't cry. I was
Sing-
just hyped.
As they all appeared
Seeing
and the
everyone.
theme started, I was like, "Oh, I'm crying now."
Yeah.
As
crying with joy.
as guardians, ravagers,
Ma-
magicians,
Sparks.
sorcerers.
Sparks, would you say you cried man tears of joy?
No, I
no,
cried
they were
baby
like
tears.
boy tears.
Oh, yeah.
I cried.
I'm a
baby-
child. I'm a child watching
Yeah.
that.
Like the first time, and I spoke to you a little bit about this. Like the first time I saw it, like I think I was just so overwhelmed with so much, like I wasn't sure how to feel. Like I knew I really liked it, but like I didn't feel as strongly about the Black Widow moment or the Tony Stark moment. But upon second viewing, man, I was like everything hit me so hard, and especially like I know, of course, all the snaps would come back, but seeing them come through
Seeing
those
them
portals,
come through
and
the-
like, okay, here's 3, and then here's 3, and then here comes Spider-Man. I'm like, oh my god, comic books, baby.
I was hearing people scream and cry when on our first viewing with Spider-Man. For me, that scene with everyone coming back and they're walking out, I'm just so happy.
Everyone has their own favorite character, so like every character, like a small group of people will clap, and then another like
Wasp
Spider-Man-
would appear.
Yeah.
Valkyrie would appear.
I clap for
Korg and
Wasp.
Meek.
Yeah.
Hey man, I didn't think I wanted Valkyrie at that last
On
battle.
her- on her Pegasus.
Again,
But
what other
she's
movie
there.
gets like a giant man and a Pegasus and like it's
Wong
so nuts.
brings all the sorcerers,
I like Doctor Strange is like, is this everyone? You wanted more?
and then Giant Man,
seeing Groot with the Guardians again.
the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier, seeing Spider-Man swing in and his helmet comes down. Just even seeing Gwyneth frickin' Paltrow, Pepper
Land as
Potts
rescue.
fly
Good suit, guys.
fly in
Thank you,
in
Matt
her own
Fraction.
soup, going, God damn, everyone is there.
The
Everyone's
music for that moment too.
Yeah.
and then we finally get
It's-
the
it's-
damn.
it's-
we finally
it's-
get the damn thing.
really good.
And-
Rhodey gets that new War Machine outfit.
Yeah.
Looks
Which
sick
is
as hell.
Sick. Oh, I love his
I
new
really.
suit.
And then Cap calls the hammer. Avengers, assemble.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Just complete. I'm like screaming like the Dodgers hit a home run. I'm just screaming. I couldn't contain
Big
myself. The
Big old
mus-
splash page of them.
No,
running.
the music's swelling, and as like the two armies are about to meet, I'm just thinking to myself, "Is like they could end this movie right then and there." And I would have been like, "This is the greatest effing thing I've ever seen in my life."
Literally, I'm like, I
Like,
feel like this
if,
is
like-
gonna cut off and it's like continued in part 3.
Like if Thanos and
They filmed the Secret Avengers movie.
yeah.
like if Thanos and Cat were about to exchange a blow, and it just said directed by Anthony Joe Russo, I'm like, I don't care, best movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Um,
I would have felt blue balled.
upon
yeah.
upon the repeated viewings of watching them run at them, Cap is jogging, not running,
Absolutely jogging.
to let
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
keep up with him.
Yeah,
Because in Infinity War, him and T'Challa are like sprinting.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's just kind of like, let's go, guys.
Yeah,
He's
he's
Also,
light
it's,
jog.
It's the nature of the movie. They are clearly CGI, like just, hey, this person's green screened in here, and like when you have like 50 huge celebrities,
Who
that's
gives it? Yeah.
that's how it is, and who cares?
There
I
was
don't
only
care.
there was only one scene in this whole movie where they could get everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they used it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
There's just, I
okay
remember this
with
one
it.
specific moment where like everyone's running, and then I see M'Baku, and I'm like, wow, that is very much green screen M'Baku, baby.
I was trying to look for M'Baku. I couldn't find
He's
him.
green screen in like one scene.
It's the Avengers Assemble shot.
Yeah.
Where they're really there, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, that's the gang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got them all.
This
Yeah.
sequence is really great, and then we have Clint coming through. Is like, I got the gauntlet.
And now I'll bring up, I would be remiss not to mention it. I really like this movie. I really like how her arc ends. Black Widow not being part of this is a real sad bummer.
It is a bummer.
It is a sad bummer.
Yeah.
It's an acceptable sad bummer.
Yeah.
It is a sad bummer.
She's not part of that awesome A4 shot.
Especially when the A4 shot happens, because it's like, yeah, but she's the
baby.
first. She's the first.
Yeah.
And she's not there.
Yeah.
Ben, you don't know what A-Force is, I'm assuming.
No.
Okay, so A-Force, for those of you who don't know, and Ben, was a short-lived comic book series where after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
It was after Secret Wars, where it was basically Captain Marvel takes all the female characters in the Marvel Universe who have been Avengers and creates the A-Force.
Gotcha. Okay.
Black Widow being left out of that. Little bummer.
It's sad. Yeah.
It is sad.
Yeah.
So it was right when Captain Marvel comes back, gets the gun for Peter Parker, and then
Well, first, she comes and wrecks Thanos' shit.
which is
Right.
awesome.
She destroys that shit.
Right.
Oh,
But I
even
want to talk about the real quickly before we get there. Two things. When Clint's running with the gauntlet, he's like, "What should I do with this?" And they're like, "Get it as far as away." And Hulk's like, "No, we have to get it back to where it came from.
Yep.
We have to get all those stones back where they came from." And so that gets them. Hey, does anyone see a ugly brown van? and we get a great callback to Ant-Man and the Wasp. When Evangeline Lilly's there with Scott, and she says, "We got this, Cap." Because it goes back to when it's called back to when Ant-Man and the
Civil
Wasp.
War, yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. When Scott Lang calls him Cap, and she makes fun of him for it.
America, Cap.
Yeah.
Steve, we call him Cap.
We call him Cap, and she makes fun of him for it. I like that callback.
Again, like you didn't have to necessarily watch every single movie, but it pays off if you do.
You're rewarded.
Absolutely.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys know how much I love Ant-Man and Wasp. You guys like Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yes, I
But,
do.
like, just that little 5 seconds is like, man, that's extra +1 on this movie.
Check out our ranking episode from this week to find out how much we like Ant-Man and the Wasp
Hell yeah.
individually.
It's a lot.
Plugs.
Yeah. So that sequence is real cool.
There's obviously so many
Every character
things that happen
every
in
character
this.
gets a cool moment.
T'Challa grabs the gauntlet. Spider-Man grabs the gauntlet.
Not only that, he calls Clint by his name.
which is a callback to Civil War.
Because he originally was like, I don't
I'm
care.
Clint. I don't care.
And then he's like, Clint, give it to me. And he
Yes.
starts running.
That was
It's
good
like
too.
them trying to do a 50-yard.
Spider-Man run. Jesus, sorry, Spider-Man flying on Valkyrie's Pegasus.
And
oh,
he
man.
finally gets to say, activate instant kill. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, killing
I got
all.
this. I
It
got
does
this.
pretty well.
I got this.
Yeah.
I don't got this.
he kills a bunch.
Tony and Pepper fighting back to back.
Oh, that was
Great
so
moment.
A
great.
lot of great fan
Ryan
moments.
got his Giant Man step box,
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Giant
I'm
Man
glad I wasn't more
steps on a dude.
specific.
which leads to the Tony and Peter reuniting moment, which is really good.
So
And
good.
Peter establishes for us exactly what the Dusted know. They were turning to dust. They think they passed out. They wake up, and the only reason they know it's been 5 years is because Doctor Strange said it's been 5
Yeah.
years.
Which I want to see that moment. I want to see Doctor Strange. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
It's like, all
they
right.
need us. Let's go.
It's like, okay, so it's been 5 years, but everyone needs us. And it's like, wait, what? Don't ask me questions. We gotta fight.
It's going to be an incredible battle.
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor Strange, even where Tony finds Doctor Strange. He's
Is
like,
this one?
Hey,
Is
Doc,
this that one?
1 in 14 million. Is this one? I was like, if I tell you, it's not gonna happen. Fine.
But at that moment, Tony knows this is the moment, but he doesn't know
Yeah.
how it's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
He knows it's the one they
He
win.
knows
but
this is
don't
it,
know-
but he can't know how.
yeah. And so it's because you get it when he says, "You better be right."
yeah.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp get a little call back there. I love Peter and Tony's hug.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really great. I also really like when Captain Marvel comes down after raining fire and he's just huddling with the gauntlet.
What are they firing at?
Yeah.
Something just broke the upper atmosphere. I remember
Uh-huh.
the first time we saw it, I was just sitting there like, yeah, she did.
See, I thought it was going to be like Ravagers
So
or
did
some
I.
space people.
No, I was
but
100%
it makes sense.
like, it's Captain Marvel. Here she
Yeah.
comes.
Uh-huh.
When Peter's like cuddling the gauntlet.
Yeah.
It was
Hi,
terrifying.
I'm Peter Parker.
Hey, Peter Parker.
I-
You got
I-
something for me?
I really like how she says that line.
Yeah.
Me too.
Uh-huh.
Snarky.
Yeah, I like her as Captain Marvel. I can't wait for more of her.
Yeah.
Thor and Captain America switch weapons. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, yeah.
no, you take the little one.
Like Steve gets Stormbreaker and Thor gets Mjolnir. He's like, no, give me the big one.
Yeah, switch
Yeah,
it
there's
up,
a lot of big action moments, but I want to hit the important character beats.
Yeah.
Peter Quill sees the Gamora from 2014,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but he doesn't know that.
No.
Oh, boy.
Kicks him in the nuts.
Yep.
You missed the first time, and the second time you got both.
Yeah, that's good. Man, that makes me super excited for just what Guardians 3 could possibly be.
I wonder. Here, okay, bear with me.
Bearing it.
Because I could be completely missing the mark. I wonder if 2014 Gamora was dusted.
No, she ran off.
But she's not.
She's not loyal to
Anywhere.
Thanos, so there's no reason she should have
No,
been
yeah,
dusted.
we know, or Tony knows at least that like some version of Gamora is good. It's like I don't think he would kill her. Like he
doesn't-
wouldn't even know.
But he doesn't know.
Even then, he would have said Thanos' forces or whatever in
Yeah.
his mind when
Yeah.
he snaps, and she's
Yeah.
not Thanos' force.
And
And
everyone-
she's actively fighting
Yeah.
them.
Everyone fighting with Thanos does it. Everyone not fighting with Thanos,
Yeah.
you're okay.
I think the swap of like Nebula and Gamora like for Guardians 3 is going to be like an important character thing.
Be good.
Yeah.
Good to see.
We'll talk about that next week when we talk about the future of the MCU.
Boy, I'm real curious about what those are going to be.
Hell yeah, 5 years.
We'll talk about that then.
What
Yeah,
that
yeah.
future. All right, so where are we now?
Big ass battle happening, baby.
All kinds of
All
stuff.
kinds of hell.
They're trying to get the gauntlet to the van,
Yes.
and
They get
Doctor
real close.
Strange has to catch the
water.
water, so he's taken out of the fight because he's got to do that because
Yeah.
Pepper saw it happening.
Water cyclone.
The A-Force moment happens,
Yep.
and they got to get there. I will say one character who I wish had gotten like one more moment of good play. Actually, two characters like action play. Is there's no isolated like good action scene moment for War Machine,
Yeah.
and there isn't a great one for the Hulk.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Yeah.
both of them I wish had
Hulk
one.
really doesn't fight.
He's got one punch when
Yeah.
he says we got to get the stones back to the thing, and then we really don't see him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish Hulk had a good action moment because I want to know that the Hulk still can.
Same.
And I wish Rhodey had a good action moment. Like they're in the group stuff, but isolated.
Yeah, it doesn't take away, but like it would have been cool like to have like the final movie like have some Hulk shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see War Machine like with that suit, War Machine out, and I don't get like a focus moment of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thanos is trying to get the gauntlet now. He's scramble for the gauntlet.
When Black Panther had it, Scarlet Witch comes down on
Oh,
Thanos.
yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot.
You
Scarlet
took everything
Witch,
from me. I don't know who you are.
Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
really good action beat in this in this moment. I really
very
like
strong.
what they did.
She has to be strong to be able to do
She's
that
the
to
reason
Thanos.
why he says rain fire because he's
he's getting
pulled apart.
Yeah.
And she's real good in that moment. But he does inevitably get to a place where he can get to the gauntlet. Tries to headbutt Captain Marvel, does not work.
Hell
After
yeah.
the A-Force like makes their way through his forces and him.
Yeah.
I think it's Shuri, Rescue, and
It's Okoye, Shuri, Rescue.
no. Who blasts Thanos? It's three people.
Oh yeah.
Right
Is it
before,
Rescue and
right
Tony,
before
too?
Captain Marvel
Isn't
get
Tony
there.
there, too?
No,
No,
it's the ladies, and it's Rescue, Shuri.
Is it
and
also? It's also
Captain Marvel.
No, Captain Marvel was flying
I'm
at
trying-
him.
I'm trying to say. Wanda. Is it also Wanda?
I want to say yeah.
I don't feel
I
like
don't
the
remember.
red was in there.
Yeah.
I could have
Someone
sworn
else.
Tony flew down.
No,
No, it was not Tony
Okay,
because
okay.
It's not Tony
they
yet.
kept it being an
it's
A-Force
it's
moment.
the A-Force because all the like spear fighters and sword fighters, that's Gamora and all them, they take it out. You know what? Maybe it's Wasp.
I think
Oh,
yeah.
So
yeah, yeah.
Wasp,
was
Rescue,
there.
and Shuri, they
Okay.
blast Thanos with a 3 blast that
Yeah,
knocks him aside while Captain Marvel's trying to get there. That's when he throws the blade because she's almost at the van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does the sick thing where like he can't overpower Captain Marvel, so he pulls the Power Stone out and punches her with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when he
Uh-huh.
headbutts her and she takes nothing, and he has that look on his face like,
Oh.
whoa.
yeah.
He just
He was
rips
like,
the Power Stone out
huh.
and punches her with it.
Before she got there, Thor and Captain America tried to tag team and take him out.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't work out.
Thanos is just really strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they Captain America was pulling from the back, trying to get that axe on his head.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Didn't work out.
Punches him good.
Yeah.
So Steve's
Oh
down.
man, I love gets him on the ground, slam.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse.
It was a lot
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was a
Yeah.
lot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Captain Marvel, she gets 2 good bits with Thanos there, where she's holding that gauntlet before Thor and Steve step in, and then she comes back and stops him just before he snaps.
I really like in this moment we have Tony looking at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange just
the one- the
Yeah,
finger.
he holds up the one finger,
Yeah.
and he knows in that moment what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Thanos pulled that Power Stone, the look on Captain Marvel's face like,
oh shit,
yeah,
crap.
whack, yeah.
And then
Burns his hand too. Which
Yeah.
is
Oh
good.
yeah.
Tony is able to get the Infinity Stones off of the gauntlet. And
I love
into
how
his
when
armor.
Thanos is like, I am inevitable. Tink.
Yeah.
Nothing
What?
happens,
Yeah.
Sneaky.
and
You see them forming on his gauntlet. It's
Uh-huh.
it's the kind of moment where like it's telegraphed. You see it coming a mile
Yeah.
away.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's satisfying.
it's a good fist pump moment.
Yep.
But I just love I am Iron Man.
yeah.
And he
Robert Downey
snaps his
Jr.
fingers.
acts it
Yep.
real well.
Really
I
well.
Am Iron Man is like the beginning of this universe, and
Uh-huh.
it's like it's kind of fitting that it's the end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
well,
dust,
the end of this point.
Yeah.
and it dusts
For him,
it
yeah.
dusts
His saga.
all of the Thanos' forces
Yeah.
Yep.
are all gone forever.
All the Black Order is like, oh, okay, bye again.
And Thanos sits there in his defeat.
Yeah,
And-
he kind of like saunters and sits down like he did at the end
Yeah,
of Infinity War.
Yeah, except it's a center
And then
ending for him.
and then he himself gets dusted.
And his head just like goes down as he fades
yeah,
away.
he failed.
Bye bye Thanos.
Bye bye.
Bye bye Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't say one more word.
Well, he does say,
he
"Hey,"
says-
he
says Pep.
He
Oh, he
says,
says Pep,
"Hey,
sorry,
Pep."
yeah. I mean,
'Cause
but,
I
like,
was
he's
re-
not. Yeah.
Going into this viewing, I was really hoping and remembering that his last line was, "I am Iron Man."
Yeah.
But instead, you could make the argument because it's just very under his breath, like, "Hey, Pep."
Yeah.
When she goes to him and she's trying to talk to him, because he doesn't say anything after that.
Bless
Are you okay, Brandon?
I'm
Bless you.
sorry, Luna scared me.
Oh,
I thought you said
Dog in the room scared him.
but I do love how like
It's gonna be real funny on the video.
I do love the scene, that whole sequence when Rhodey comes to him and he doesn't say anything. He's like, all right, I get it. Peter comes to him and he's like crying, and then finally Pepper comes. He's like, hey, we're okay. You can rest now.
So I want to touch on also, I think everyone in that scene is perfect.
Yeah.
It's everyone who needs to be there.
I had an unfortunate moment the second time I watched it where I was watching Peter cry over Tony, and I was in the moment, and then all of a sudden I realized that in that shot, and it's nobody's fault, Tom Holland's hair makes him look like Denny from The Room crying over Tommy Wiseau, and it took me out of it for a second.
that is such a specific.
It is specific,
Oh my
and
gosh.
you're right, but I mean, like, I saw it, and then I couldn't unsee it. Took me right out of that moment. Not every time, but that time.
I've never seen The Room,
That's
so
so-
Neither have I.
that's
Good
so
thing
odd.
that doesn't hurt me.
That's such an odd thing.
But he does. He looks just like him, and I'm like, oh no. And then I went back.
but yeah, it's Peter and it's Rhodey and it's Pepper. And
I
Pepper, and
love-
Pepper says we'll be okay.
I love that it's Pepper who has the final moment with him. Like,
Yeah.
it's
As
like
it should be.
because as it should be, because like I know everyone loves Spider-Man, but like it should be Pepper who's like, Tony, like you can rest. Like
Also,
we'll
that's
be
his
fine.
wife.
Yeah,
We'll be okay.
yeah.
I like that a lot. And I'll tell you,
She's really good.
I'm keeping it together.
Yeah.
I'm still okay. I'm pretty sad, but I'm still okay.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I was on the verge. I had to. I was like trying to breathe. I was like, oh, I'm about to bawl
first
right
first
now.
time I watched it, I was fine.
Do we?
Third time I watched it,
Yeah.
not so much.
Where are we after his death? His
Tony
funeral?
dies, and we see them. Taking that in, and then it's
His funeral, isn't it?
not quite directly. I mean, we're hearing the video
There's a
he leaves, but we're seeing
This is-
Wakanda celebrate.
this
We're
is their-
seeing
a montage of
fireworks
a lot of
and
heroes.
Scott
Like,
with Cassie and
This is the
Hope.
Return of the King ending of everyone
yeah,
seeing where they're
we
going.
see Clint go back to his family again. We see.
Yep.
We see.
See
I think
Ant-Man
those are the
and-
only ones we see. We see
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Wakanda,
Yeah.
and we see Ant-Man and the Wasp with Cassie, and then we see
Clint.
Clint with his
Uh-huh.
family. And I think those are the reunions we see
Yeah.
Yeah.
as we're hearing Tony speak.
It's over the last video of Tony during the funeral, and he's talking.
Yeah.
And
I love you 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that got.
really
I hope
good.
the world returns to something close to what normal is.
Yeah.
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 He
Yeah.
does say a little teeny tiny continuity error. He does say, if you told me 10 years ago all this, like how big the universe was, but 10 years from 2023 would have been post Avengers. He
Yeah.
knows they mean 10 years in the relation of the films, not
Yeah.
so much in the relation of the time.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah. And again, I'm still kind of keeping it together. And they lay him to rest with the proof that
They
Tony
put
Stark
the
has a
they
heart.
put
has
the
a heart.
wreath with proof that Tony Stark has.
I
a
love
heart
that.
out
And
into the water.
I'm
Is it cheeseburgers that get you?
it's
yeah,
cheeseburgers.
it's
Yeah.
cheeseburgers that we're building.
Cheeseburgers.
too.
Got
Oh,
'em.
dude. I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers you
I'm
want.
still, as I said, I'm still keeping it together. And the great shot of going through everyone who should and shouldn't be in that moment. It's everyone.
Let's be clear. Only a single person did you feel shouldn't be,
Which one?
right?
Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's.
I mean,
I
also
think,
kind of Hank.
no, I think
No,
it's fine that Hank's there.
Yeah, I'm cool with that one.
Yeah.
They
has
are
a relationship
they are
with
directly,
Starks.
He doesn't have a relationship directly with Tony, but they are all people who are in the know that Tony Stark's sacrifice and what they did is the reason they're alive.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I get. Harley being there is odd, not only because the kid doesn't even look the same, so a bunch of people are like, "Who's the
I
kid?"
didn't
Like
know
I
it was
see it
him.
online all the time.
It took
Who's
me.
the kid?
It took me a while. I was like,
if
oh,
we didn't
wait.
know the kid was in the movie, I wouldn't have even figured it out.
I'll tell you what. So many clickbait articles are working because even people who watch those movies didn't know who that kid was.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it just there wasn't a close enough connection established past outside of Iron Man 3 for
Yeah.
me to feel he needed to be
I agree.
there.
But man, everyone was there. Green screen or
And
not.
I don't think as much. I'm not gonna say nothing was green screen, but I don't think as much as we think.
Yeah.
I do think there's as many as they could have were there.
Yes,
It's
Thunderbolt.
cool. Like Ross is there.
Yeah,
like,
I like that Thunderbolt Ross was there.
Maria Hill's there.
You know what I would have
Fury's
liked to
there.
have seen? I would have really liked to have seen in this film a scene with Captain Marvel and Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
too. It's just where's the time for it?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll see it. There
Yeah, I hope
will
so.
be scenes.
I really hope so.
But I know that feeling. I wish Nick Fury had gotten a line in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I wish Nick Fury had gotten to say anything about Tony
And-
at the end.
And that's kind of like the problem because like
Actually, I remember now. I wish Fury had been part of the ending, the last scene.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Fury had been part of that, partially because of how it buttons to the end of First Avenger.
Yeah.
But I think that Fury being there would have been a good moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, neither here nor there. We're talking about all these people watching Tony's funeral.
So happy asked if
Aunt May is there
Aunt May is there. The Guardians are there.
without Gamora.
Drax is wearing a shirt, his poor
Mhm.
nipples.
Very sweet. It's very interesting now to see all these characters are now familiar and aware with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Happy asks, I love seeing Jon Favreau on this
Yeah,
moment,
man.
though, by the way. And Happy asks if what Morgan wants to eat, and Morgan says cheeseburgers, and all of a sudden the waterworks start, and I can't stop crying.
And then Happy even almost starts tearing up. He's like, "Shit, man, your dad loves cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers
when
you
your-
want."
Yeah.
when your dad first got home from Afghanistan, he wanted cheeseburgers.
Yeah, that definitely got me.
Cheeseburger first.
Yeah.
Great. Now I want cheeseburgers now.
We're almost there. We're almost there, man.
We're in the end game now.
All right, where do we go from here?
Uh,
Thor and Valkyrie.
Thor and Valkyrie
Thor
at
and
New
Valkyrie?
Asgard.
Queen Valkyrie.
Yeah, Queen Valkyrie.
Now the leader of the Asgardians, because Thor says it's time for me
Well-
to stop being who I'm supposed to be, time for me to be who I am.
Thor's busy being part of the Asgardians of the
Okay, I
galaxy.
love that. The second he goes onto the ship,
I guess we
as-
know the title of that movie.
I really hope it is.
I hope
I
it is
really
so
do
much.
hope it's
I wouldn't be
Asgardians.
shocked at all.
I want Asgardians of
I
the
bet
Galaxy.
I bet it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, and then like
Like a little
badly graffitied in front of it.
It only
as-
makes sense.
Yeah, so I really like Quill and Thor.
I
a
like them
lot.
more in this
Yeah.
one
Oh,
moment
yeah.
than I did in Infinity War.
When their whole like, of course it's you in charge.
Hemsworth's,
course.
Hemsworth's like
And-
comedy is so, especially the of course, like because his eyes like of course.
Yeah.
I love his
so
eyes.
creepy.
I love how Drax is like, maybe you two should fight out for right. No.
And Peter's looking for Gamora.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think the next Guardians film is they're maybe try to get her out of the Soul Stone if it's possible.
Or trying to
Soul Stone
find
doesn't exist.
No, I'm saying like I think part of the film of the third Guardians film will be trying to figure out if it's possible to return Gamora.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if none of that's touched and Gamora is dead, and just 2014 Gamora is our new Gamora.
I think that's probably
I
how
wouldn't
they're going.
either.
That's the
We
thing.
will discuss this next week when we talk about the future of the MCU. No future discussion today.
No.
All right, are we done?
So
then?
speaking of the future,
Nope.
Stature is going to be in the Young
and
Avengers.
So the Guardians of the Galaxy bit is good. Adding
Yeah.
Thor to the roster, love it. And then finally, we get
Peter
to
and-
the sending of Steve back in time.
Yes.
Yeah, Peter and Ned got a good moment too. I like that one.
Yeah. Also, I'm confused a little bit about that situation.
Oh yeah, Peter and Ned. Peter at the school, right? That was in Tony's little.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of Peter's classmates were all like his close classmates are all conveniently dusted because they don't age.
Yeah. That's
in
what
the
I'm.
Far From Home.
I think they'll answer it definitively, but as of right now,
Or they'll screw it up again.
I have a feeling they won't. But as of right now, I'm kind of
8 years later,
No,
Ryan.
I know. I'm kind of confused about that stuff, but like
I'm sure Kevin Feige had more of a hand. Like he got more direct.
considering this is a
Considering that this is
Yeah.
so directly connected to Endgame,
I'd hope so.
and
that's what
and the fact that they did get flack about that from Homecoming, I'm sure he's like, hey, look, just
please.
please.
So they go back and so they send Steve back in time.
To put back all the Infinity Stones.
Upon repeat viewing, you realize that Bucky knows
Oh yeah,
what
I knew,
Steve's doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the second time I saw it, the first time I missed it, the second time I noticed.
because Bucky says I'm going to miss you.
I'm gonna
I'm
miss
like,
you.
why
Yeah.
is he going to miss him? He's coming right back.
And that's why he's so knowledgeable of like, hey, Sam, you go talk to him. I know.
100%.
He knows what Steve's plan is.
It's kind of fitting that all of the development between the characters continues to be off screen. With Steve, as far as Steve and Bucky goes,
Yeah.
Bucky is a character off screen.
and I really
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like that moment because it calls back to the first Avengers, like don't do anything stupid till I get back.
Uh-huh.
How can I? You're taking all
The
stupid with
reverse
me?
of it, yeah.
I like that too, and he's gonna miss you. And the first time I saw it, I really wanted the moment with old Cap and Falcon to be with Bucky. Like Bucky was there as well, not to give the shield, but just to be there and get that goodbye.
Yeah.
Because we hear so much about their relationship, but
But
seeing
that's
it,
not who it's about.
but seeing it a second time and saying, and him saying, I'll miss you, makes me realize, oh, you've already gotten that goodbye. You've already had that moment. You're giving this to Falcon.
Sure.
I now, upon a second viewing, I understand more so than just you've built up the relationship anyway. Why would you give it to Bucky? But I do appreciate the extra step.
Yeah.
And this is so smart on so many levels. Because it answers so many questions that fans are like, who's going to be the next Captain America? Who can do this? Who can do that? Like, oh, what about Bucky? Like, they answer it all here. Like, hey, the mantle's there for Sam if he wants it. Bucky's, he gives the nod. It's there for the future if you want to do it. If not, we still have things that way.
They have a Disney Plus show coming out soon.
Exactly, yeah.
So glad he didn't give the shield to Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been like, man, he's not a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was happy about that too. Actually, when my first time I saw it, and we saw that guy, and we saw old Steve on the bench, I did not know who that was first.
He looked like Clint Eastwood.
For a
Does a little
split
bit.
second.
Does a
I'm
little
not
bit.
even joking.
When he's
Clint Eastwood,
looking ahead, he
Yeah.
looks like Clint
Clint
Eastwood. Then he
Eastwood
turns
is
out
my-
and you see Chris Evans.
is my casting for old Captain America if they ever did this. And the fact that he looked like Clint Eastwood, like, I thought it was Clint Eastwood
All
for
right.
half a second.
So
I'll
let me
be
be
okay if I never see
Let me be
Clint Eastwood
clear.
in a film again.
When we saw Steve's face, I knew who it was. But I'm talking about when we see him on the back. And
Who else would it be?
I don't know. It took me a second. Okay.
Well,
I
no,
just got through a very, very emotional funeral scene. All right.
It's tough. It's tough to get to the. I kind of understand where he's coming from. I knew what had happened. He had gone to the past and lived a life.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
They telegraph it, yeah.
But I do understand. Like, you could, if you weren't sure, maybe it's like Back to the Future Part 2. He sent a letter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He is
something.
the letter.
Yeah, he is
He
the
is
letter.
the letter, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that he went back in time to be with Peggy for the rest of his life.
I really like the poetry of the moment. I think it's well earned. I'm going to miss Steve Rogers. I wanted more stories with him, but this is fine.
I'm gonna miss Steve
I think it's a
Rogers
good
also.
way. I'd rather this than killing him.
Yeah.
As I was
I
talking
agree.
to Ben about on the ride over, because you guys were talking about like who's going to die, all these things, and so were a lot of people. Like, how many characters are they going to kill? Are they going to kill Cap and Iron Man in one movie? And I'm like, they'll never do that.
No.
And I think that this movie shows why. I already think it's hard to give proper weight to both Black Widow and Tony's passing in a single movie, let alone if they tried to kill Cap and
Yeah.
Tony. I don't think it's possible. So this is a much
Yeah.
better send-off to the character than killing him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it works. I think it's very poetic. I have a slight problem with the way time travel works with Steve.
And you just go through it, and I'm just going to say, yeah, that's fine.
I don't feel the need to.
Well, I
to
just
do it
want
here
to.
on
I
the
just
podcast
think because it's time travel rules. Like, it's all made up. Like, the logic is not there. Like, so, like,
Sparks, you talk.
I want to know. I
want
want to know. I do want to know.
I will only say, and I also think it's important to say it on the show,
Yeah.
on the podcast. But I will just say, I don't think it breaks the logic of the film, and that is my only argument against time travel in films. If it doesn't break the logic of a film, it's fine.
I'm gonna keep it simple. I just would have rather that we had seen Steve Pym particle back to this moment in time as an old man, with the implication that he lived out his life with Peggy in an alternate timeline.
I thought that's what it is implying.
He just shows up, which to me implies, because he didn't show back up with the Pym particles, that he lived through our previous film timeline, but in secret,
Without changing anything.
which
No, I know.
I don't like that implication.
And I agree because that causes so many problems within the time frame. But the way I understand it, and again, like, the send off, the happy ending happened, so I'm happy that it happened.
Same.
The only way I see this without making it super complicated is Steve knew the exact time he was supposed to show up to say his goodbye. So he lived his life in this alternate timeline, and he came to ours just to do the send off.
which I prefer.
Yeah.
I that's what I want it to be.
Because like when they're using Pym particles and stuff, like they shrink down super fast.
Yeah.
He could have done that, and we just saw it off screen when he landed on the bench.
But I think to have made it clear and where it's direct and how it relates to the rules would have had him show up back on the platform as old Steve. I understand it's like a sweeter moment to see him sitting on the bench, but there's a lot of people talking about this scene online, and a lot of them are pretty convinced that because of the way he shows up, it means he lived in the previous film
and
timeline.
that means they would have like complicated the whole timeline. Yeah,
saying that he has always been Peggy's husband.
Yeah.
That he has always been the father
And
of
he's
her
been
children.
there in secret
That he's
and-
been there in secret, and he's been allowing the events to happen while
Yeah.
keeping his head down low.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I find it selfish.
I agree.
And outside of
I
Captain
agree.
America's character.
That's why I think he lived in an alternate timeline.
I prefer that. I just wish they had directly presented it, because the idea of him, as it appears, him existing in that whole timeline, doesn't sit well with me as the character.
I don't disagree. However, I did see a tweet, as one does, where they were talking about it's an interesting parallel. I think it's a good parallel of Steve and Tony. For Tony, he was a very selfish man. he did a very selfless thing.
Oh, yes. I saw this
And
too, yeah.
flip side, Steve, very selfless man,
He's never been selfish.
did a selfish thing.
That's sweet and all, and it still is a selfish thing in a sense, even if he goes to an alternate timeline because he's not being Steve Rogers anymore. He's leaving that. He's not being Captain America anymore. He's leaving that mantle behind. That is, in a way, a selfish thing.
Yeah.
The problem that I have is the selfishness going to an extent where he kept his head low and allowed people to die. That if he existed in that main Marvel timeline without letting anyone know, I don't like that.
That's why I don't think he existed in this.
I
agree. But again, it wouldn't have changed anything we just saw.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that's kind of what he was talking about. Like he doesn't want to change the journey that they went on, that he went on, because he's not smart enough to figure it out anyway. But like but he doesn't want to change the story.
Sure. My point being that then he has chosen, knowing where things are going, to let Natasha die, to let Tony die, rather than act. I don't like that. Doesn't feel
those
Captain
things
America
have
to me.
To happen though.
I mean, but even then, like all the previous bad of the Marvel films, the idea that Captain America just sits by, I prefer just an alternate timeline. He lived out an alternate life with Peggy.
That's what I assumed.
Simple,
Yeah.
simple.
Are we not on the same page that this movie is presenting? He's living in an alternate timeline and came to visit our timeline.
I don't
because that's
feel
what
that,
I think the movie's presenting.
I don't
think
feel
so.
like the
Really?
film
You
shows
think he's
it.
living in our timeline
Yes.
and he just messed it up?
This is what
he is living in this timeline and deliberately doesn't want to change
So,
the story.
Does that mean
lot-
there's two Captain Americas?
Yes,
Yes.
that's the theory that
Okay.
he's saying, and that a lot of people on the internet believe because of how the film shows it, that he has always been destined to go back, and he has lived under the radar this entire time. I don't like that version.
Yeah.
I wish that it were clear that he had gone to an alternate timeline.
I
think him living in the previous Marvel films, I'm on your side, is not a good character choice.
Then I will agree. It's not. They don't present the case well on either side. But for me, I saw the movie as Captain America would not screw over the world. So, I think he lived in an alternate timeline. He might
Sure.
screw that timeline over,
Sure.
but they have their own Captain America.
And you know what? It's all fine as long as Marcus McFeely and the Russos never say, well, no, he did go back. It was always going to be that way. Just don't say that.
And again,
leave it alone.
And again, my fundamental thing at the beginning was this time travel stuff causes this kind of complications.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, this is such a sweet moment. I don't want to ruin. I don't even want to think about. Oh, but does this do this and this? No, live in the moment. Let the moment happen.
Uh-huh.
That's
I
free.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I had to it was something that didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
If that was the intention of the character, because that's what I read, and I'm like, man, I don't like if that's
Yeah.
what they're going for. So I had to deep dive on the internet. And a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people like it. That's one of my things. I just
Yeah.
That's not the way I want that.
Okay, that was not as bad as I expected it
well,
to
the
be.
the same reading that Sparks has, I prefer it. I like that
Yeah.
reading of it.
Either way,
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, you read it as him living his life in
An alternate timeline.
sorry, okay, I guess not. I misunderstood.
I'm on Ryan's side. I view it as he went.
They just don't present
changed
it that
the
way.
timeline.
Yeah.
And he lived out a life with Peggy, then came back to this main timeline.
He's just visiting this timeline.
Yes.
He's
Okay,
never. Yeah.
I prefer the way he just laid low.
Okay. Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
That's garbage.
We've said why.
Yeah.
No, now I want to fight that.
Well, no, we can have a candid discussion, but I do agree.
No, it's already 3 hours long.
No, I mean, I think this is a fun, just real quick. I agree, it's against Captain America's nature to lie low because that's not what he does. That's his
Right.
whole thing.
I agree with that as well, but I also think that you don't change destiny.
They've already created alternate timelines. Who cares about them changing this one as well?
But perhaps he went back in time to stop those alternate timelines from being started.
He can't put Thanos back when Thanos doesn't exist.
No, okay, that's fair.
And see, this is time travel logic stuff. I'm like, oh man, let's just enjoy the movie.
But I feel that if he went back to live his life with Peggy
in our timeline,
and kept his head low because he knows how the story needs to play out,
and there would still be Captain America doing all this stuff,
yes,
correct?
and
Okay.
he wouldn't want to change any bit of what that story is because he knows how the story is supposed to play out.
It makes sense for both
Let
ways.
me add another wrinkle.
I think it makes sense.
Captain America has lived his life through these other movies. He hangs out with Sharon Carter, who he's also going to kiss at that same reality.
So he actually
That's
kisses his
gross.
niece.
Niece.
This is literally Game of Thrones now. If that's a situation, he kisses his niece.
I'm not going to even touch that.
Which means Sharon Carter should know. If she knew Peggy, she would know her husband was Steve.
That's true.
So this doesn't work in this main Marvel timeline.
This is very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that last night. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. No, I think that's the
It's got to be alternate.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's the way I saw it anyway. Yeah.
That is the reason why I didn't want to touch on it. All
But
right,
I mean,
let's end this.
Well, I mean, it's the end game now. That's the things we got to talk about to figure it out.
So real quick, we were going to talk about time stuff at the end. So there are at least 2 alternate timelines created that I don't think Steve could fix, which is Thanos doesn't exist in a 2014 where him and his army and Gamora and Nebula left.
So that
alternate events now happen there.
That's a safe universe, really.
Well,
nice.
Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy might not have really properly formed because Gamora's not there now.
Which means Ego would have gone and...
Ego probably would have done his thing. Well, no, he
shit.
didn't have a kid. He didn't have... Well, he might have found Quill, but he might not because, again, Peter might not have done the same things to stop Ronan.
Oh, true.
I'm
So
just
who
saying,
knows?
Thanos not existing in that world is automatically a better place.
That's a whole alternate
That's
timeline.
awesome. I love this shit.
And Loki disappearing with the Tesseract potentially created another alternate timeline that Steve couldn't have
Now,
done.
real quick, does them not replacing that Tesseract in 1970? No, because that
It
was
wouldn't
still-
fix
it
the
was still-
Loki thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he can't change that they did that already.
Yes, it just.
But I could see him going back and trying, at least attempting to stop Loki from stealing the Tesseract.
It'd be cool if that Disney Plus service is just like Loki time thief, and he's just traveling between time. Like, I got to escape with the Tesseract anywhere I can, man.
Yeah.
Like, that little scene makes me super excited because, like, oh
Sure.
man, so many what if things just happened now.
Right, yeah.
So many what if things. That ego thing is a really interesting idea. So what if there's what if like the Guardians 3000s have to team up to actually fight ego instead of regular Guardians? All of this,
Don't do
like,
that to me, man.
exactly, all this what if shit, like this movie allows it now.
Yeah.
The animated series coming to
So
Disney
at least a couple of alternate timelines were created.
Oh yeah. And let's talk about all the post-credit scenes now.
There were none.
Oh yeah.
There was, however, a soundbite which everybody is pretty confident is the sound of Iron Man making the first armor.
100%.
Which I would be
Very sweet.
very happy about that.
Have you read any other silly theories, like what stupid cosmic theories people think that could be?
No, because I didn't bother.
I'm just
because
wondering
I
if
figured that was
like 10 theories of blah. I'm just wondering if you saw. Okay, because it's literally that's what it is.
No, I've stayed away from clickbait.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come from Disney or Feige themselves, don't even bother. Just don't.
I don't know. Comicbookmovie.com is pretty good.
Let's not call out a website.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're way more popular than us.
Yeah. Final thoughts. Let's get out of here.
You guys know how I feel. This movie's like if I had to rate it on I love it so much. I love it
Give
way
it a
too
rating?
much. I give it a 10. 100%.
10 out of 10?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ben?
I love this movie. I was on, as someone who has watched all these films multiple times, as someone who's
We
been on
watched
this,
most of them together, baby.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
as someone who has been on this journey since 2008, never missing a single one. This ending is
Yeah.
like, this is the ending. This is a great closing chapter. I know we have Far From Home coming up, but Endgame
That's just like the cherry on top of the huge
yeah,
cake.
but just Endgame being like, this is the definitive ending. Like, one of the things I love is at the end credits of the film, especially for the main 6 Avengers, it's their signatures with their names and some clips
Oh, yeah,
of
that's
them,
really cool.
That was awesome.
of them in
real
their
cool.
some really good shots of them throughout their films. I'm like, this is great.
not just that, but all the cast
All
that
the-
they put
yeah.
in the visuals.
They put all the
the
cast.
signature part is really great, but
Uh-huh.
like the whole cast, the way they treat them is really
yeah.
very ceremonious. I liked it.
But the final 6 Avengers, like, hey, this is maybe Thor's gonna have some more stuff. Maybe we can see Hawkeye
Hell yeah.
some more. But for the main 6 Avengers,
It's kind of
they're done.
yeah.
That's it. And I loved it, and I was like, this is a great ending. 10 out of 10. As a comic book fan, this film it works. This is a great thing to watch with Infinity War and then Endgame right after. It's like, this is the ending. This is great.
a nice 5.5 hour double feature.
Sparks.
I still, sit with a couple of feelings on it that pull it back for me. I think, looking on it, I think Infinity War as a film is a tighter, more well-written, well-driven narrative film. But as a payoff of the MCU and the fan service moments and everything, this is obviously top of that list. So, honestly, if I could just get that darn Bruce and Natasha scene, I'd feel a lot better. So I think it lands at a 9.5 for me, which is, I think, where I put Infinity War 2.
Hey man, that's almost perfect. So yeah.
It's obviously it's an incredible film achievement. It's by no means bad. amazing that we got this, especially the way that we did. The fact that it's as well executed as it is, who am I to have any right to complain? But yeah, I'd say Bruce and Natasha thing. That one bit is just that the Natasha death landing is my only big drawback. But otherwise, an incredible film.
I mean, I echo a lot of what you guys said. I will add that I have rarely ever had a more satisfying cinema experience with a franchise, and just because of the love I have of this franchise, and I'm not sure I'm ready, but this was the ending I needed to see. And because of that, I give it a 10 out of 10.
There's still more to come.
I honestly don't feel many finales end as satisfactory as this one. Like,
Sure.
Like, Return of the King's like really good, but I'm sure like this buttoned 20 movies basically, and it's impressive. It's truly impressive. I know we said that a bunch.
With as long, because we've talked about long form storytelling before, but with as long a story as this has been telling, as every film is vital essentially. Maybe you can get away with one or two films, but every other film is like, no, you need to watch this if you want to get what happens in the end game. If you want to get the whole cohesive story, this is kind of like reading a mainline book, but also reading all the tie-ins, but it closes together in a perfect knot.
Yeah. All right, this review is now officially longer than Avengers Endgame.
Really? We've been doing this 3 hours?
Nobody's surprised.
Wow. Let's get out of here then. So we'll see you guys on the main feed.
Yes.
You know where to find us if you're listening to this. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of Fake Nerd Podcast. I'm BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter.
DJ Tony Snark at everything for Ryan Neleopoulos.
Ben
Mac at 27.
Sparks.
Sparks Witty on Instagram, SPARKZ Witty.
Rate and review us wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. We are on, so far, this new feed that we are on. I'll talk about this more on the main episode, so if you want more information on there, be sure to listen to that. But we are currently only on 3 catchers. I'm trying to fix that now. So if you have any problems, please email us at fakenerdguys@gmail.com.
We're also on YouTube.
And we are now on YouTube.
Yes, we are.
You'll probably be seeing this one. Hi, YouTube.
Hey, babies.
Stay fake nerds.